No one can hear you.
Yeah, you're me.
That's true.
Corey,
Not
how's
hear
my
you.
camera? Please. Please.
Crisp,
Thank you.
really top
That's all
notch,
I'm looking for.
real
I
good.
gotta-
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous. Actually, I'm a lot jealous. Actually, I don't know what it is that you do, but you're doing it well. Oh, and so okay, I want some insight. Like maybe I'll wait for Prime to come back so you can hear it.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay. On a scenario, I want to give like as like the bare minimum information as possible. Okay. Or at least yeah, I'll only reveal information as needed. So okay, this involves 3 people. Okay. 2 guys, 1 girl. Okay. And let's say yeah, we have guy
Sounds like
A.
a party. I like
Seen
it.
that
Yeah,
video.
we have guy B.
Yeah.
Okay. And guy A and guy B pretty much they only know of each other's existence. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
That's it.
A and B do?
Yes. Guy A and guy B. They pretty much the only information they have about each other is that they are aware of their existence. That's it. That's all. Okay. And this is in the situation of a gym. Okay. Maybe inspired by real events. Maybe, hypothetically. So let's say, for example, okay, guy B okay, goes up to speak to girl or woman, okay, and
Woman,
like-
girl or woman? Which one? Woman or
woman, definitely
Okay, that will
above the
change
age
things.
of 18. That is.
Gotcha.
Thank you for letting me clarify. Yes,
Okay.
good question. Fantastic. That is crucial information that I want to reveal. Woman. Okay. Now let's say guy B, okay, goes up to speak to woman, okay, and by coincidence or circumstance, okay, guy A is like 20 feet away, but guy B is unaware of it. Okay. Guy A, okay, as in guy B is speaking to the woman, and after about 30 seconds of speaking, okay, guy A, who's about, I don't know, 20, 30 feet away, okay, walks up, stands right behind girl, okay, and just stands there, okay. Now guy B says hi, guy A mutters back hello, guy B looks back and forth between woman and guy standing right behind her. Guy B says to woman, are you going to be at the gym tomorrow? She says yes. Guy B leaves. What do you think has transpired there? Or do you need more information?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll get us started. I mean, so far, not really much of anything.
Sorry, so let me make sure I understand. Is this a question for
Okay.
me? I don't. If
It's
I
actually for everybody.
if I don't need to be involved, then don't involve me.
I would want you involved because
Corey,
your
be
insight
real.
may be valuable.
Do you just want me involved because I'm here?
No, I want you. I want you to be involved.
Wait, hold on, you're actually married, right? You're a proven ladies man.
I'm married.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm married twice. I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
I
No
mean,
judgment on my part.
you're good at
Probably
pulling them at
worse,
least
right?
twice.
Probably
yeah.
it's like this shit ain't don't mean much to me. That's a joke. My
But yeah,
wife, if
so
you're
what do
listening,
you
I
want?
love you. Okay, so they're at a party. There's a
No,
girl.
no. This is in a gym setting, at the gym.
They're at the gym, and then
I thought you
one
said they were
dude,
at a
one dude like
bar.
walks up like right behind the other dude, and she goes,
No, no,
"Oh."
no. Behind the woman. Behind, as in like, guy B is speaking to woman. Let's say face to
Okay.
face, as in
Yeah.
guy, and then 2 feet away the woman.
And then
Guy.
and then the dude is like, see you at the gym.
No.
The
Guy
woman says
B,
that.
As in, once
He hasn't revealed their contents of their discussions yet.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, there wasn't much contents of discussion there, but guy A, okay, stands right behind woman, okay,
Mhm.
and then guy B, okay, just says hello to guy A, or hi, how you doing? Guy A says, or like mutters under the breath, hello. Guy B like looks back and forth between woman and guy A. Okay, nothing appears to be happening. Okay, and so guy B asks the woman, "Are you going to be at the gym tomorrow?" She says yes, and then guy B just leaves.
quite important is that they're probably Canadian based off of their pronunciation of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
is
Well,
that
they're all
relevant?
Canadian here. Yes.
I was gonna
I'm
ask,
Canadian.
does he say it? Does he say tomorrow like that, or
Yeah,
does he
it
say
says
tomorrow like
tomorrow.
a regular person?
Based.
Yeah.
Or like one of those quivering little pussies up north. All right, which one does he say? Like a normal average cool person,
That really changes this.
or like a little bitch? Which one does he do?
Well, we're all Canadian, so I guess we're all bitch made. right?
Great, cool. Just checking. Thank you for being
Okay.
honest.
But yeah, it just sounds like, all right, guy B, you know, like guy A gets close to woman, right? And guy B thinks to himself, oh, do they have some sort of, you know, pre-standing relationship? It looks back and forth between them. Don't know what conclusion he might have drawn. But then he just like, you know, finishes up the conversation. Hey, are you gonna be, you know, around? And she's like, yeah, I'll be around. And then he leaves. It seems like nothing in particular happened really.
And what if I reveal the information that actually woman and guy B don't meaningfully know each other and they're not romantically linked?
That's what I was.
Wait, hold on.
expecting.
Guy and who?
The
That's what it
guy
sounded
and
like.
the woman.
No, which guy?
Guy B.
Face
Guy
to face,
B.
dude.
Yeah,
All of them.
He's in front.
Then
probably.
the guy behind is trying to assert dominance. Like, get the fuck away from her.
Yeah.
He's getting ready to piss on her.
Yeah. He's like, yo, this is my chick. Watch it, punk.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I
That's
think.
fair.
But I might need more context.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't know,
calling
maybe that's
dibs.
wrong.
The guy who says, "Are you going to be here tomorrow?"
And do you
he's
think
calling
that's an
dibs.
actual
think it's-
sign of? Do you think that's an actual
no.
sign of dominance?
No, only if you're a pussy.
No.
Okay.
Guy A.
Hold
Guy
on.
A's
Any
establishing dominance,
any
not guy B.
dude who does that shit, who goes, "Don't be talking to my chick," loser. Probably Canadian.
Well, wait, but to be that's like they're not romantically linked.
Wait, I thought you said they were.
No, listen.
No.
Oh, no,
Hey,
yeah.
You have
One of them
ADHD.
is no, sorry. The ones face to face aren't.
None of them are romantically linked to the woman.
None of them.
Oh,
No,
none of them.
are.
Yeah,
You
I
would
would
None of
say
them
I would
know-
say one
none
of them
them
is
know her.
asserting, "Yo, this is I want to be talking to this one."
He's calling dibs.
Yes, you're
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's pussy behavior. I will be for real. It's sorry if one of these is you or if person. Hold on, I forgot who was who. I think it was person
Guy
A
B
is
was
the
the one
pussy.
You have
front,
trouble
guy A
tracking.
standing
I
behind.
understand, you know.
No,
I'm
no,
using
no,
guy
no,
A and B,
I got
but, like,
confused because the first person of the story was person B, which is
I know that's
confusing.
very confusing to me too. I didn't understand with that either. But like,
Okay, I don't know. Okay, you can use the letters, whatever letters you want.
No, I
If you
can't
want.
because they need to comport
we
to
have
your
to.
understanding of the letters.
yeah, we.
Yeah, sure, fair. Guy B was the guy that walked over.
That guy's
and
a
stood
loser.
behind the woman.
That guy's a loser for sure.
No, let's use the original because we're gonna confuse ourselves. So guy
No,
B
that is
was
that
the
is
one
the
in
original.
front.
Guy
I
B
thought that
was
wasn't the
his-
original.
No,
That was
Guy
No,
B was in
Prime, I
front.
think you're right. I think you're right,
Yeah, Guy
Prime.
B was
I
in
think he
front
swapped them
before.
I
around.
thought.
And then he's
Okay,
making
fine,
fun of
fine.
us for getting
Okay,
confused.
fine.
So originally, hold on. Originally, I'm fairly certain that Guy B is the one who said, "Are you gonna be here tomorrow?" I'm almost positive in the
that's
very
it.
first one, Guy B said,
Okay.
"Are you gonna be here?"
I might
tomorrow?"
have got lost in my own narrative. Okay, then.
I accept your apology, Corey.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I apologize if
Okay.
I confused my own narrative.
If
No,
no,
no
you
problem.
did.
Okay, I did. Even though
What,
you-
I don't fucking
think,
know. I could
Yeah,
be
I know
wrong.
you don't know. That's the problem.
No. Oh, so look, Guy B was in front, so we're gonna use that. Guy B
Sure.
standing in front. Guy B, he checks. Hey, you're gonna be here tomorrow. Guy A is standing behind, right? Looking, I'm assuming, slightly menacing or puffing out his chest or whatever the fuck, right? So that's what happened. And now,
Or it could be like a,
yeah,
you know?
revealing later.
It could be. Well, here's the thing. It might not be a back off. If the guys homies?
No,
I
they're
already
not.
said.
said they don't
All
know
they
each
know
other.
is that they're aware.
They
They are
just
aware
know
of their existence.
Aware. Yeah.
See, you're not tracking, Hunter.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, you just said relationship
You're
to the
not
girl. None of them are in a relationship with a girl. But if they're homies, then it's fine.
They're not.
Because
not.
homies
They're
can
not
call
homies.
dibs on.
They're not homies. They are just aware. I tried to emphasize that
Yeah.
point from the beginning. They are just aware of their existence.
I
But
don't
does
think
guy
there's a
one
problem-
know
okay,
the
well,
girl?
hold on. I don't. There's not a problem.
That's a joke,
with it.
Corey.
No,
I
none of
know
them.
it. I
I
get it.
Okay, so none of them like. There's not a problem with what it is he's doing. Obviously, guy A still has the ability to like still hit on the girl if he wants to, but like guy B is obviously trying by saying, "Are you going to be here tomorrow?" He's trying to like get his in so that the other guy backs off. But he has no like responsibility to back off or anything. It's just that this is just like him making his move. You know
Okay,
what is
I
the
think
what is
you're-
the quandary here?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I was trying to like reveal, but this was like, obviously, no surprise. This is based off a real life situation. Okay. Yeah,
Whoa!
I know. Now the reveal.
Holy
Poof,
shit!
magic. Okay. Where okay, whatever
guys were
lettering,
hitting on
whatever
you.
lettering you want to use. I am the guy that walked away. I'm not the guy that
You're guy B.
walked.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
I predicted you're a guy B. You're not a guy A type
You
of
were
person.
just talking to the chick.
So I walked up, and this is a girl
Can
that
I
I
be-
see.
You were the
yeah.
guy just talking to the chick.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you're not
Uh,
the loser.
Well, I still might be a loser, but
No, no,
let's say
no.
in that situation.
Not in
okay.
this circumstance. Not because of this.
But like, so this is a woman that I had seen regularly at the gym. Okay. And like whatever, and I let's say had some, very minor interactions with them before. Okay. But then like, I went to go and speak to them, and then after 30 seconds, like, the dude walks over, okay, and stands right behind her. Okay. And I was like doing the calculations in my mind of like, okay, that could be a boyfriend, that could be nobody, that could be a friend. And let's say I was trying to give like the most charitable interpretation, as in like, I thought if that was their boyfriend, okay, I kind of like would assume, but it's not a given that like maybe she like introduce or something, but she did not appear to react.
She
Okay.
knows that guy A's behind her.
Yes, because she looked,
Okay.
she didn't say anything. That's
Get the
when it's
fuck
like,
away.
I looked at both of them. I was sort of like, I gave like 1 second for, one of them to say something. Okay. And then that's when I said, "Are you going to be at the gym tomorrow?" She said yes. And I walked away.
Guys,
I
She
only
did
did say
who said
tomorrow.
I only learned afterwards. That they were not romantic through future conversations that I had with her. And,
Okay.
I actually did the litigation, as in like I was not going to litigate
Wow,
the
you-
situation in the moment. Okay. And like, let's say in the moment when I was doing the calculations, speed running, it's like, okay, I've either like miscalculated and turns out, they do have a boyfriend, okay, that, I just hadn't seen around, or like for whatever reason, like this is someone they know and they're not introducing. Okay.
I'm still unconfused as to what you needed us to sort out here. Like, I don't understand.
I still
Yes,
didn't get the answer.
That's fair. Well, no,
Yeah.
as in like, because I that's when I asked Hunter, like, okay, who is the dominant one in your scenario?
Nobody's dominant.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
fair.
think anyone's particularly dominant.
I
in
wouldn't
here.
say
Like,
dominant. I would say one of them's a bitch.
Okay.
One of them is trying.
Who demonstrates insecurity? I'll hear
Yeah,
that
no,
one.
that's what I mean. That's what I mean by
Yeah.
bitch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
agree
guy
with you.
A. Yeah, guy A, the one behind, not you.
If I'm
is
getting his
the-
intentions correctly, which like maybe he was just oh, like maybe he was just like chilling there. He's like, oh, am I close? Actually, my bad.
Was
No,
he
no,
in
no.
line for like a machine or something? Like,
So
No, yeah, maybe
No,
maybe
it
he
turns out, like,
misread.
it turns out like she has spoken to him before, okay, but like again, no meaningful interaction. As in like
Yeah, yeah,
they're also
No,
sort
no,
of
no,
like
I understand, but I'm just
they're
saying.
like acquaintances.
I'm saying it's possible that
Okay,
he didn't
I
mean
give
to
up.
stun.
I'll be back.
Yeah, you can get.
Maybe he was like.
I understand it's difficult to
Sometimes
to
when
track
you're a
a
little-
triangulation.
Sometimes when you're a little autistic, you accidentally get a little too close to people, and then you're like, are people reading into what I'm doing here? I'm just standing here.
Yeah, that's true. That's the
That
thing
could be what.
happens.
Like, I don't know this situation. Maybe that is what's going on.
I didn't. Well,
But if
I,
his
I
intention
was,
is
I'd be
to,
curious, like how you would evaluate the situation, like at the time.
it's
like,
so hard to do without me seeing it, because like
Yeah.
a lot of the information that I'm looking for is going to be nonverbal.
true. Yes. I agree.
So if he was just sort of like standing there awkwardly and he looks awkward, I wouldn't think anything about it. But if he was like looking, he was like kind of glaring at me a little bit.
When I say he like stood right behind her, I mean right, as in like invading personal space behind her.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it seemed on purpose. Is what you're
was he
saying.
looking at you, like directly at you the entire
Yeah,
time?
as in like,
Yeah.
so let's say she's in front of me, like 2 feet away, okay,
Yeah.
and then he walks up right behind her,
Yeah.
okay, and like again, I would say, yeah, for, like again, invading unless they are actually
I'm a-
romantically, like I would say uncomfortably
But they're
close.
not.
I'm a
not-
bi-
I
I'm
would
a
understand
big
that.
believer. I'm a big
Yeah.
believer in not letting these bitches win. And so I would bring him into the conversation. I go, "What's up, dude?" And like try to like bring him in, even though he was like
I said
clearly
hi to
trying to
him.
communicate something. I would like pretend like I wouldn't understand what he's talking about. I love doing that shit because he's like, because then he has to either say it explicitly, which he won't because he's a little bitch, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no.
I agree.
If you're communicating something stupid, I have no obligation to receive it. That's my philosophy.
That's a good.
and do you think, let's say, assume, I think it's a fair assumption that I think everyone sort of concluded that, the guy that walked over is trying to like stake their claim type of thing.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
it sounds.
If it seems like she's, here's the
yeah.
real question: if she seems into it, fucking run away from her.
Oh, good point.
I
Good
agree.
point.
Run away.
I agree. That I
She
agree with
is
you.
a
I agree with
loser
you. I
who wants some
100 I
protective little
1000%
watchdog
I
psycho.
1000% agree with you.
I
Okay,
like.
and that leads into my follow up of like, do you think overall this would like in general on average like increase attraction to this person or decrease? As in that
It's
would make
either
women...
negligible or decrease. It can't
Yeah.
increase. Or no, it could if she's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And embarrass him. Oh, then it's like, "Come
Yeah,
here." And then
Yeah. So I would say that yeah, if she's the type to want like two guys to be fighting over her, right? Like oh, this is a positive development, right? Like two guys are like,
As in she
like,
wants the attention, right? And like
yeah.
yeah. I-
Exit.
I agree. I agree with that
Yeah,
That's
assessment.
my kind of girl.
I agree with that assessment.
you gotta
Yeah,
run away, dude.
and like send her number to Tom. But yeah, so if not, right, like she like looks back, maybe she also doesn't like want to make a scene, right? Like some guy, she
No,
she's a
totally.
woman
That's the
who's
neutral.
been there for a while, right? Like she's been a woman for like a while at this point, and she like looks
Mm.
back. She's like, okay, I know exactly what this is. I'm not gonna say anything, right? And hope this like diffuses.
Yeah, that's a
and it
neutral
does.
interaction. That doesn't
Yeah.
affect my attraction for her.
Yeah.
No. As in like, how do you speculate the woman's attraction to the guy?
Oh,
Yes.
I would speculate negative
Fine.
for sure.
Okay. Yes. Then I would agree with you. So okay.
I would bet that I don't know. I would really like a lot of this is gonna be some.
That's why I said
nonverbal
like on
communication.
average, as in like generally speaking, in broad average, like I agree that there's gonna be some I would say, in my opinion, minority of portion of women that like will respond positively to that behavior.
Yeah, but it depends on the subsection. Like if you're like at a bar in like Miami, then like maybe the average woman would be really into that.
What if I told you this woman prefers women only gyms?
Yeah, then I would say yeah, for sure.
For good
I would
reasons.
agree that it plummets dramatically.
Okay. Yes. Then
Do we have
that'll-
this Heidi's Instagram? Do we know?
But,
Brian
then-
just
but
wants
I'm,
to
I'm
look.
not. I'm not necessarily.
Prime
going to...
is that dude who's
Yeah.
behind,
Oh,
just
what?
lurking, fucking.
No, I'm not. not that guy.
But like,
Not
but
guy
not
A.
even to back, not
behind
even
it.
to back off. It's to invite him in. He's like, let's look
No.
together.
I can
Like,
tell
yeah.
you, like, I now have additional like information because it's like, I was like processing them because like there was a moment in time with like I didn't actually, I had my suspicions of what was going on in terms of like everyone else's suspicions, but like I more or less got the story from her. Okay, as in he was uninvited. They're not romantically linked. Okay, and she was she was frozen and didn't respond in the moment because understandably I think everyone sort of recognized that's an awkward situation. Okay, but then she let the guy know afterwards, hey, that's not cool, don't do that again.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, then good. That's positive. It sounds like. What?
I know I was gonna say, but then because I'm just curious of like what the calculation of the other guy is of like it's hard for me to like understand that mentality because like basically as of now, okay, it's like well I'm more or less like incentivized to interact with her as much as possible because like he now knows now that as long as I'm around, he can't come up and talk to her.
Well, the answer.
Now, if he walks up, you'll be standing behind her.
Yeah. Well, no, even then that would be
Well, I
creepy.
mean,
but-
already behind her.
No. Hold on.
Okay, sure.
That's
If
not
she
creepy when
requests
it's
it.
reciprocal. No, it's not creepy when it's a reciprocal. It's awesome when it's reciprocal. When you
Yes.
go, bitch, look who's got her now. And then it only matters to him. It only matters to you because it matters to him. It only matters to her because it matters to him. Then it's like, now
yeah, but-
ownership is cool. Because
but
it's
you
like,
seem to
you fucking
intuitively
care
know.
about property.
You seem to intuitively know that like probably on average, I don't know, at least 51 or I don't know, 60% of women are gonna view that as unattractive.
Yeah, for sure.
And-
It seems as clingy. And clingy for like a relationship that's
possessive,
not
as
even
in, like,
yours.
He
It's
is
like-
not even her boyfriend.
No, that's
and
what I'm
is-
saying. Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
if it is your boyfriend, then it's different. If like
It's
it's
still
not
a
your
little
boyfriend,
creepy.
I
then
would
it's-
disagree
it's very
because like I've
No,
been in
it's
the
obviously
position of like
different.
well, okay, maybe slightly different, but like I've been in the position of like being the boyfriend and watching my girlfriend interact with another guy. It's never crossed my mind of like
Mhm.
I should go stand behind her as if she can't like
no,
handle
it's
herself.
it's different because you would have some sort of like inside information on whether or not they're bothered by people coming up to them and talking to them, or like what you things of that nature, right?
That's a
Like
good
you
point.
would
Yes,
have,
but that's the only
you would have
circumstance.
like
but,
more intimate information.
but I would never do it with the intention of like scaring the other guy off or like staking my claim.
Hold on, it depends. That would be pretty funny. I could see myself. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I mean,
Scaring
well, yeah,
people
you-
off.
You're doing it as a joke though, not
Of course.
necessarily. Yeah,
Of
but
course.
like not in a serious way of like, hey, I
Sure.
gotta stake my claim to my woman like some
you
caveman.
just
Yeah,
walk
that's pretty
up like
pathetic.
this behind her.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Make
lie.
yourself look
that
as big as possible.
I'm obviously biased, but it seemed like he was like flaring his lats and like trying to like broaden his shoulders.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what I thought. He like bumped out his chest. 100%.
Because like he happened to like be holding his phone like this and like texting, and he like says hi, and I'm like,
I will say
Tuck
a
his
lot of
elbows
guys
out a
are
little
under the
bit.
delusion that genuinely looks good on them. That like girls appreciate that.
but I have like the clear indication that she did not appreciate that, and like now explicitly told him like, hey, like stay away with,
Okay.
don't do that again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like you had most of the answers. Like, I don't know how much of this you need.
Well, no, because like I'm reasonably sure there's some proportion of men that would be like, I just like submitted, of like since I'm the one that walked
yeah,
away.
but that the problem is Lacto is not here.
No, see,
Sure.
that's
Lactoid.
that's such a that's you
Because
you losing.
In
Because-
my mind, like he has let me know through his actions that he is threatened by me, like flat out.
No.
Uh,
Sorry.
When, what makes you say no?
Because it doesn't matter who's talking to her. Any dude who's talking to her, those types of guys
Well,
are
you think
so
it was like some
protective.
3 foot, I don't know,
Yes,
little person?
yes. Who looks ugly?
Oh,
No,
Yeah.
but it
oh,
does
I-
mean that anybody
I don't know what the
who
little person
talks
has to do with
her, he's
anything,
going to
Corey.
be threatened by. No, it does mean that like anybody who talks to her, he's going to be threatened by.
That's what I'm
and
saying,
that
yeah.
just by walking up to her, if he's already standing up, and Corey continues to talk to her anyways.
Yeah, it's not
then
about
yeah, I
feeling
would
like
say
a
that like the
threat.
guy
Yeah,
is like no. I would say that that's like it means that,
No,
like,
no, but
he would be
everyone's a
more
threat to
threatened by
him.
somebody who continues.
Mhm.
Sure, but I'm saying that like if his intention is thinking that you're
Everyone,
going
even-
to, like,
even
not
another
talk
girl?
to her, and then he does talk to her anyways, then I'm saying that like now it's more like, okay, I got to keep an eye on this motherfucker because I can't just stand behind her and scare him off.
I mean, yeah, like I take your point, but I don't know that it would be like every guy. Yeah, I agree it's possible, but I don't know. That behavior seems.
You're that dude.
Yeah.
You're that
uh-huh.
dude is what you're saying.
Which dude?
That dude. You say it for me, Prime. You say you're that.
I mean, you're that dude. Yeah, you're that. Dude.
No, you're fine. Okay, never mind.
Oh no, I get what you're
You
saying.
fucked it up.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Okay,
you fucked
whatever.
up.
It's fine. Fair enough. It's Brian's fault. So in terms of the stream,
I needed you to say the N word for me, but
Oh,
We're not in sync. We
I
weren't in
was-
sync there. Sorry.
I wasn't gonna do that. I'm sorry, Fred.
Do you
Uh,
identify as
I'm-
black, Prime? Because you're Haitian, right? Am I getting that right? Am I not even a little bit right? I'm sorry. Is that not right? I'm sorry. What? Was that a stupid
The
question?
big,
I don't
the-
know, like how to.
the big gap in the
even-
teeth. Is,
I don't have a gap in the teeth. I
What
have
the
no
fuck?
gap. I've never had any sort of gap in my teeth. Excuse me.
Hold on,
Well-
Prime.
well, then
Where am
never
I?
mind.
Where am I wrong?
Close up?
Did I
Oh,
offend
yeah,
or
close
what?
up. Oh, sorry. Oh, the light's too bright. Maybe. Try to turn it off. Are you better? No. Yeah.
I don't think you have
Yeah.
a gap in your teeth. That's the joke. Is that yeah,
Oh.
Haitians generally have a gap in their teeth.
The joke
They
is
don't
that
generally
those.
have a gap in their teeth.
Yeah, I
like,
don't know what
some
you're
people
talking
do. They don't generally have
Tomfoolery,
gaps. What are you
a
talking
master
about?
of race relations.
True. He's
Yeah.
like those fucking monkeys over in the
No,
Cuban
those
area.
gap tooth
Alright.
monkeys.
True.
Yeah, oh my god. Okay, so any which way to
Wait,
deal
Prime.
with
Did I
Hunter.
offend?
You didn't. No, you didn't. Clear, friend. You didn't offend me. No.
Okay.
I think
it's just
the
like
I don't know what the reaction was.
I think it's an awkward question. It's weird
Oh.
and strange, awkward question. Look, so I am black. Of course, I identify as black. Yes, absolutely.
Hold on. I've met
right?
a ton of.
I-
I've met a lot of Dominicans who don't like identify as black. even though
Oh,
they have very-
Dominicans. Okay, yeah, Dominicans.
I've
Okay,
never
great.
really met a lot
I
of
just
Haitians.
looked it
and
up.
it's right
You guys
next
are
door.
fucking
Maybe that's-
gaslighting me.
Hold on.
Haitians
Hold on.
do too.
This isn't
Generally,
that. I
have
can
a gap in their
update
teeth.
my.
No, they
You guys are
don't.
fucking lying to me.
So-
Yes,
Gap
they
in their
do.
teeth is crazy.
Yes, they
doing
do.
multiple things.
He goes
I'm
into
dealing-
Haiti and then like everyone's all poor and
You know,
like no one has
it's-
teeth and they're like.
They do.
I guess
just
Haiti.
fucking looked it up.
I guess Haitians
I
are born with
guess
yellow
You guys
teeth.
are wrong. I'm right.
Weird thing
Okay.
here. I guess Haitians like to sleep on the floor. They like huts.
Yeah.
Kind of
yeah,
weird
yeah,
thing
you
about
guys just,
Haitians.
You're floor sleepers. No, hold on. Multiple things are happening here at once. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Dominicans are a special beast. I will talk about them later. But Dominicans are not like Haitian. They're not like most anyone in the fucking Caribbean, right? So like, let's put Dominicans to the side now.
Okay.
And this and okay, that's a wild thing. Maybe it's a wild thing to say, but I can understand that you, Hunter, right,
Dominicans don't
don't
have gaps in their
understand
teeth.
that there might be. That's a wild statement, right? To compare like Dominicans to Haitians in that
Well,
way, right?
Well,
Like,
wait. Could
no,
I be
no,
super?
No, come on, you keep interrupting me. I keep
Oh,
trying
sorry.
to like.
Okay. I
answer
thought you
your
were
question.
asking a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a wild statement. Like especially considering the history, considering like everything about fucking Dominicans. Yeah, no, like these aren't the same, right?
Okay.
So whatever your Dominican friends are, which I can probably guess as to what they're actually saying. Yeah, that doesn't apply to most other black-looking Caribbeans. Okay.
Sure.
So-
Could I?
Okay. So I identify as a black
Sure.
American. Okay. All right. Or
A
African American.
He identifies as
I
black.
know that there's some people. I only learned this like honestly coming online during for Twitch that there are some black people who make a distinction right between like
African American.
the immigrant
Right.
communities, right? And then foundational Black Americans. And if you're not an FBA, you're not actually a Black American.
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
something
yeah.
else, some other label, right? I'm not one of
African
those.
American and Black American.
All the people
Yeah.
I grew up with aren't those people, right? F that. So I just like I lump us all together because guess what? The cops do.
No,
so,
fair. We all look
yeah,
the same to
so-
the cops. Ain't that good enough? Who said that?
Ain't that? Actually, I don't know who said that, but that's a good. It's a
It's
good
Childish
line.
Gambino.
Okay, and then now we're gonna go to the Dominicans for a second. Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Sure. Can
Them-
I clarify my statement a little bit though?
Okay.
Look, it's not just Dominicans. I have a Brazilian cousin who looks blacker than any Black American I've ever met, and and my wife worked in Brazil, and they identify as black down in Brazil, but then the moment they go to America, then everyone's like, "You're not black. You're not black. You're not black." And so they go, "Oh, I guess I'm not black. My bad. I didn't even know that."
Brazil,
So,
okay, so the
This
thing-
seems like a sorry. Let me just say this real quick. It seems like a common experience for a lot of people with dark skin color who aren't born of or who aren't like African American to not be considered black. So I was wondering where you fit into that situation, and I was asking your opinion. That's where I was coming from.
Okay, sure. So Brazil is not the same as Dominicans,
I know it's not the same. Yeah.
Brazilians, but in I don't. So it sounds like what you're saying is that like they're like they identify as black, and then they come to the for the Brazilians, they're coming to America, and then they're being told otherwise.
We had this conversation
Um,
with Cherry back in the day about the Dominicans and how like she always said that people said she wasn't black.
Right. Right.
well, hold on. Let me get to the Dominicans in a second, because they're a special, they're a special snowflake there. But no, for like, so for in Brazil, right? They have like interesting racial history, right? The
Yeah,
racial
yeah.
categories, are quite interesting. They had like a campaign to breed out the black out of the blacks, right? So like unlike with an American racial segregation where it was segregated, where they're like, oh, we're just gonna keep the races apart, right? And it's a taboo to like intermingle. In Brazil, they're like, oh no, it's the opposite. Okay, we're going to like breed civilization into you, right? By like all the white people, you fuck
Based.
the brown people, right? Yeah. So like
Yeah. There's an
like, they're-
aggressive. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry.
Brazil-
In the education, my wife worked in the education system in Brazil, and it's very common to like like get like skin colors or like makeup that like makes you look as white as possible, and obviously like there's like a stratification system, but then also because racial systems in Brazil only exist in terms of colorism, it's not really based off of ancestry. You'll see like college administrations where they flip it, they reverse, they try to look as black as possible to sort of capture the like the affirmative action. So it's like it's a very they're very obsessed with color down there.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
From my
Unlike the
understanding
U.S.,
of-
no obsession with color.
Hold on.
Exactly.
I'm not saying that we're
I know.
perfect up here.
I
And there's
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of
no, no.
worse shit we do up here that they haven't done down there. But
I'm
just saying,
joking.
Well, we also have a very different concept of race here, where it
Yes.
does like ancestry.
It's
is a
based off
big
of
part
ancestry,
it,
right,
like facial features,
Yeah,
skin color. Like there's so many other things.
Like
so
the
we're-
fact we call
like somebody
logic
like,
black is like a weird thing to
Exactly.
a lot of other countries.
Mhm.
So okay, so I thought you were coming at this from another way, because sometimes like Brazilians who might otherwise be called black like don't embrace the black moniker because of like their whole racial situation. That's what I thought you were going with, but that's not what you were saying. Okay, fair enough, right? Let's talk about Dominicans for a second. Dominicans, right?
Here we go,
The
here we
black
go.
ones.
Don't
The
get
black
started on
ones.
Dominicans.
Show your racist. Show how racist you can be, Prime.
Yeah.
Talk about how much you fucking hate Dominicans.
I don't know. I don't have a. Well, I don't. I have a problem with the
you
Dominican
see how
Republic.
he's like
No,
well,
no.
I don't.
I have a problem.
uh,
No, just like. Well, actually, no, it's not the same. But like, I have a problem with like Dominican Republican government. But I don't
Sure.
have a problem with like ordinary Dominicans, right? I don't make any assumptions about them when I meet them or anything like that. So that's not a problem for me. But like it's as a black person, it is an experience to meet a black Dominican. It's a crazy. My first time like interacting with one personally was in college, and holy shit!
What do you mean by
amazing,
one?
right? Like
One of them. One of who? Huh? Prime.
black
Huh?
Dominicans.
Huh?
What I just said. So
One of
Kind of
those
weird how he
people.
organizes these people and stratifies them into their own groups.
So black
Prime?
Dominicans, right? So many of them. I'm not going to speak for all of them, right? I'm sure there are many ones that have different opinions, but it seems to be a common theme that black Dominicans pretend they ain't black, right? They'll just say, "Oh, I'm Dominican," or "I'm Latin," or some shit, right? But they'll go through a great pains to say, "Yeah, I'm not black." So it's got to be some for some deep anti-blackness that happens within the Dominican Republic, right? I don't know what happens when these young kids are getting raised out there, but like you'll see some black Dominicans, same exact color as me, have very similar facial features as me, will swear up and down, "No, I'm not black. What are you talking about?" And they get like super fucking offended. And I'm like, and I remember when I first like I just couldn't like wrap my head around this, right? And I remember like, cause I like end up talking to this guy for years, right? And this became like a constant undercurrent, right? Between us. And like I couldn't understand it. And then it wasn't until, especially when I met some other people who had similar experiences, they're like, yeah, like with Dominicans, they'll do this. They'll just pretend they're not black, right? Like, they pretend like these racial categorizations, like don't exist, or they're outside of them, at least within the American context. Of course, none of these things are actually real; they're all social constructs. But like within the American social construct, like yeah, you would definitely be categorized as black. They will deny it up and down, like their fucking life depends on it.
Well, to
And
be
fuck, maybe
fair,
it does, I don't know.
just to throw
Yeah.
some nuance in there, a lot of Dominicans told they're not black by African Americans. You know, they're like your ancestry because ancestry matters a lot. in
I've
America.
never heard that. So like,
Really?
I
You've
don't-
never heard? Oh, okay.
No, it's the opposite. I'm saying
Okay.
the exact opposite.
No, I know.
The
No,
black
hold
people-
on. I'm saying that
Yeah.
exists, but also the other thing exists too. I've definitely.
That is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
Cherry was saying, though. Is Cherry was talking about the fact that black people were always gatekeeping her out of the black
Right.
community, saying she wasn't black enough.
I
Yeah,
definitely-
like I said, those types do exist. Yes, like, and I identified that at the very start. But like, I'm talking about black Dominicans who want to pretend they ain't black, and
Mhm.
they get very upset when you pretend otherwise. And it's really stupid. So anyway, the Dominicans are a special beast. I haven't seen that in any other type of immigrant community. They might exist. I'm not saying it doesn't, but like that type of behavior, that seems to be a Dominican thing specifically. But again, it might be in other places as well.
Hey,
Um,
Kendrick Lamar says that Drake isn't even black, so who knows anymore?
Um,
I
would
am gonna
say,
be super
Drake is-
clear there. He does not say that he ain't black. He's saying he ain't black. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Does
Hmm.
Hunter, do you know what you're saying?
Of course. I listen to Not Like Us. Come on.
He's still trying to
That was
figure
the
out
song
guy
of the
A and B.
summer.
Okay.
I love
Alright,
Kendrick. Kendrick's one of my favorite artists.
Okay. All right.
What are you
Alright,
judging
let's,
for?
So
He's like, who's this
to the au-
fucking white kid talking to me about black culture? I'm not even explaining anything. I'm not even like mansplaining shit.
I didn't say I didn't say anything.
Yeah,
I
but we
didn't
all
say
heard
anything.
Fine.
Okay. All right. Look, to everyone. We got a bit of a situation here. So in terms of attendance,
Yeah.
two people are sick. One has a migraine, and one has the shits. They're on. a
They
toilet,
found
and
out
you
I
know-
was here, and they got
and
scared.
you know
And the
who
third
it
one has
is
migraine
because
induced shits.
Admiral Admiral Gibbs has gone through this many times. Apparently, like this is a pattern of Admiral Gibbs, like getting food poisoning or whatever. At least that's his excuse, right?
Wait, who's got a migraine?
so
Is it lactoid? Is he not coming?
No, Lactoid is dealing with some other thing that he let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he put in a group chat, right? Or whatever. It doesn't
Yeah, he
matter.
did.
he said he's
he-
coming late, but I didn't know. Who
Well, he
else
said
was-
a bit late, and I don't know what the definition
But
of bit.
Ollie and Riddell and Gibbs and Lactoid should all be here, and none of them are. So I don't know who has the migraine.
You don't have to know. I wasn't like trying to. Like,
Okay, that's fine. Sorry, I was
to
just
let people know.
curious. My bad.
It's
He's not even gonna
How
tell
dare
us.
I-
you? That
That's
is.
fucked up.
Don't you know the HIPAA laws?
Yeah. And then
Just trying to make
the-
conversation. My bad.
then one other person just like hasn't contacted us at all.
Who? Prime. Out them now.
right?
Who's flaky?
Yeah.
Who has no integrity?
Yeah, we'll fuck 'em up.
Looks like we might be rolling with this crew. And this is a great crew. I think we can make some content
We
out
all
of
heard
this.
that, right?
What are you? What are you?
Prime. We all heard your tell. We got to roll with these guys, I guess.
It's all
And
the
I,
white
and I said this is a
guys.
great crew. These guys are fantastic. Okay, whatever.
And isn't
Well,
Hunter leaving early?
I did say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's.
I
So
have
we
a
might as well
test.
get started then. Not wasting more time, especially if one of us might have to leave early. It's unfortunate, these
We
things
can.
happen.
I will say we can make this stream about abstract algebra, and I can study while we stream. That is an option that I will throw out there,
Okay.
Prime. But it's your panel.
Isn't all algebra pretty abstract?
That's
I don't know, you have
true.
to educate me.
That's true when you think about it. But that didn't really work on my teacher. I tried explaining that to him when I just did the time.
You should bring her onto the panel debater.
Yes.
I'll moderate.
Oh, who's her?
We're talking about
That's
abstract
true.
Assuming
art
gender.
anyways. So.
Yeah, it's true. Yes, I'm a huge
Yeah.
misogynist, so I went with her.
So let's. We're going to get started. And we'll see how it goes. No, I guess none of them are here. Never mind. Sorry, I was gonna do something else. But thanks all for being here. If you enjoyed that intro, which involved
Shouldn't.
Corey, what was it? Mogging the other person. Was it?
I don't know, like
Am I
I
using
just
mogging?
Mogging. You're using mogging
Okay.
correctly.
I
I can-
mogged
I
by
can-
walking away and
I
recognizing.
can tell you
that
as the
that
urban
is-
representative of the panel.
But yeah, so we dealt with Corey's lady troubles, right? And as a reward, Corey will give us the Instagram of the hottie he was talking to.
Prime, you're obsessed.
I'll do that in private.
Yeah, well, so he was like, I don't know what Corey's into though. That's the thing, right? I know
Hold on,
he's into
hold
one
on,
particular
hold on.
actress.
Prime, you're getting mad because I said who has a migraine, and you're like, I need to see what Corey gets hard to.
The only,
Yeah.
thing
Show
that
me
matters, the only
the-
thing that matters, I can tell you, you'll appreciate this, Prime. She is on Team Rhaenyra.
Uh, so yeah, so that's he likes the actress who plays Rhaenyra in House of the Dragons, the adult Rhaenyra. And so like that's the only person I have seen he's been into. So I'm just a little curious. I'm still curious as to what she might look like, but I'll leave that alone.
I
for
can send you
now.
the Instagram of another person who, let's say, resembles whatever that person to a very loose extent.
Just send me a photo. If you got a photo for it, just send me the fucking photo. Just send me the photo. I'm not gonna spread it around, friend. Like
I know.
just send me the photo. But okay. So anyway, that's just personal thing. But I can leave that alone. We can move past that. But yeah. So if you enjoyed that conversation, and then you enjoyed Hunter's crash course in like Caribbean race relations, then
Hold on, I was inquisitive. I was not.
I
listening.
didn't
Don't
say
forget-
anything.
Don't forget Tom's mastery of race relations. with the
Hunter,
gap
why are
tooth.
you so sensitive today? Like I didn't. I just yeah. Like you ask questions and then I answered them. That's
Well,
the
you
crash
said-
course.
You said it like it was like I was giving. the
Yeah, yeah.
lecture.
Like I said it in a way. Yes, I said it in a way. I had a tone, didn't you? You sound very female now.
You people
okay? Like,
always
it's a very
have a tone.
Female thing to do. Right? Oh, you said it in a way, a tone. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. Right? Like I know the words you said, but it's the way you said it. Yeah, yeah. Hold on. Okay. All right.
I don't
I'm being
appreciate
very
that
direct with you,
tone,
Hunter.
Prime.
Trust me, Hunter. As you know, when I have a problem with you, I make the world know. So you're fine for now.
True.
But any which way, if you enjoyed any of that, consider supporting the channel, sub to the channel, get bits or gift subs. If you're on YouTube, consider using a super chat. Always great. We'll talk about your super chat. We'll leave the whole big thing. It'll be fun. So consider doing that. Okay. So we're going to get started with the topic, and we'll go from there. But the topic. An initial design has been submitted for America's Global War on Terrorism Memorial. Like other war memorials before it, it seeks to provide a space for future generations to remember this decades-long conflict. However, unlike the other memorials, the conflict it focuses on is still ongoing. Furthermore, the design is ambiguous as to how we should feel about the global war on terrorism, where other memorials are far more definitive. On America's 250th birthday, how should we feel about the global war on terror? What do you think of America's actions since the 9/11 attacks? Should America be celebrated for its actions in fighting dangerous but ambiguous enemies, or should it be condemned for the many innocent deaths that resulted? And do you think America is living up to its self-image as a benevolent, quote-unquote, shining city on a hill? So yeah, there's what kicked this off is someone sent me an article about this memorial. Yeah, and the article itself is actually more of a breakdown of like memorials in general, and like what we do as a culture, as a society, to remember these moments in time, like the amount of space, the energy that we put into it, and what like these things say, right? And how this memorial seems to be especially unique. But then I went, so that's what got into my head. But I wanted to expand it past that to talk about like, okay, well, how should we like think about this conflict in the first place. Like this conflict has been fought for either the majority or the entirety of some people's lives, right? Like every one of the panel's lives, right? Um
Or
like
majority,
most of
sure.
our
Yeah.
lives, or if not all of our lives, depending how old you are, have been during this period. Some of us can't remember the time before the global war on terror, um, and it's been one of the most defining parts of American life. Now it's not the same quite as like what it was like immediately after 9/11, right? Immediately after the attacks and um, like the security treatment and like the culture, right? Like culture, all that these things have shifted, but we still had a one not just a surveillance state, but also a like a foreign policy outlook, right? That is centered on this moment, right after the post 9/11 attack, post 9/11 era, um, and um, and it was stated at the start that the global war on terror would be one against like an ambiguous enemy, right? That one that like uh will be done in the shadows, right? And will span different countries, different continents, right? It would be like a war unlike anything else, and I mean that certainly came true. But yeah, so I want to take some time to like think about that, to think about uh, uh like what do you want future generations uh, uh to take from this, right? To take from this moment in time. I mean, if you have children too, actually that would be curious, right? If you have children, or if you will have children in the future, like what will you um want to tell them about this, like because they definitely not going to remember a time before this. How would you like communicate all this, make help them make sense of it? Yeah, so we'll start from there and we'll see where we go. So we'll start with our friend Corey.
Uh, so I have mixed feelings about this, and let's say I'm on the fence, especially when it comes to, at least from what I understand, based off of what I extracted from the article about this memorial. But let's say, yeah, like uh, in general, like I'm against like memorials and especially like whatever statues celebrating a particular historical figure. I don't think it's generally a good idea to like put
Oh,
individuals.
actually, no, sorry.
That's like,
No, I just about to say. I just realized it's not that that other person didn't uh get back to me. They said like they had a flight that got canceled. Actually, yeah. Um, forgot to say. Sorry, never mind. I didn't mean to interrupt your intro.
that's okay.
But yeah, this is just kind of
Important stream update.
it's just yeah they it sent it to me before. I forgot that they said that to me, but like yeah, just scheduling for this has just been awful. Like I had a full complement and I was very happy.
I
Like
know.
we
I
were gonna
saw
have a
like nine.
full.
Ooh, gonna be
Yeah, we
packed.
haven't had a
Like,
full complement for a while, and then like literally like a half hour before we had to go through, everyone's like, I can't make it.
and if
So
anything,
it was
like you overbooked and like you expect like 7 out of the 9 to show up, right?
yes, that's what I was expecting. That was even worse. Okay, but it is what it is. But yeah, thank you. Sorry.
We'll salvage something out of this. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm confident we will. But yeah, all that to say is I have mixed feelings about yeah memorials in general, especially war memorials, and like yes, statues devoted to historical figures. I'm not sure it's good to like lionize or have mixed feelings or on the fence, and I could be swayed like maybe either way. As now I lean towards like not the greatest, but when it comes to this specific memorial, like yeah, like what is the global war on terrorism? I think as of now, like, and as it alludes to in the article, like we're still like teasing out, our positions or our feelings towards it. I think like as of now, in retrospect, it seems like largely, I think overall considered, uh, at the bare minimum, not the most just war. If anything, categorically unjust. And so, like, is it good to memorialize that? I understand there were still soldiers that lost their lives, but I'm curious of like, because like I don't know, memorials. Not that I have visited many, but it's at least it seems to be sort of like in the vein of like a celebration, or yeah, yes, remembering these people, but like then also in my mind maybe like stripping away some of the realities of war, of like should it be included in a memorial? Like, if you're including names, although it seems like this specific memorial is not including names, but like, if someone died by friendly fire, should it include in there in the memorial, like died by friendly fire? I think that should probably be included if we're actually going to include that, or at least include some of the realities of war. Of like, yeah, they were part of the war, but they were a victim of friendly fire. Maybe moving forward, we should think better of like, if we're going to go into a war, we have to recognize some of our casualties will be our own. And so I don't know, to keep it short and get to like the panel. As of now, this one I don't seem to be all that in favor of, just because like, yeah, I'm not like, I think in as of now my stance is towards the global war on terrorism. I think as of now largely leading towards an unjust war and largely a mistake, just as I think everyone now more or less agrees. Or let's say even Republicans don't want to recognize, they ignore George W. Bush. Never happened, and all his mistakes for, Iraq and Afghanistan. And so I think those fall in that category. But when it comes to, let's say, more quote unquote just wars, or that wars that are more justified, I'm more in favor of memorials like those. But this one seems, but maybe the ambiguity is reflected in the design of the memorial. But as of now, this seems not the greatest. I'll leave it there for now.
Yeah. Thank you, Corey. And again, sorry for interrupting.
That's
I
okay.
just like
It's your stream. That's an
exclaimed
important
in the
update.
middle. I did no, not when you were talking. I didn't mean to exclaim while you were going. Sorry, never mind.
I'm white. You can interrupt me all you want. Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, you have carte blanche.
I see what you did there. Hunter, I would love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. So I would love to hear Corey's reservations. I think it seems good, the memorial, and I have I have a lot of frustrations with the war on terror. But it seems like the memorial is trying to reflect that. It's trying to be contemplative, and it's not just trying to assert this is necessarily a good thing. That like, we should be this isn't just like a hoorah moment, and I really like memorials that sort of do that. I don't know. I definitely don't have reservations in memorials in general, because I don't think that they necessarily lionize people. I don't know if the statues or the memorials do that. Maybe the conversations could be better around in those areas, though. But you asked an interesting question, Prime, and that's mostly what I've been thinking about while you've been doing, which is what would I tell my kids? Because I've got 2 kids. They're too young to even really have a conversation. But obviously, eventually, they're going to want to know about what happened here. And I think, I don't know, depending on their age, it would be a lot about how human the war on terror is. And basically as bad as a way as, like, that's a bad and good thing at the same time. Like, it's a very human response to when you get hit to want to punch back, even if it's not the person who hit you. It's just like, you got to hit something. And that's, obviously I'm critical of that response. Obviously that's not a great response to just indulge, but it's something that we should be aware of, that when in the brink of, 2001, 2002, we were in so much fucking pain, and we just wanted to hit something. We just wanted to fight something. We just wanted to tear something down. And yeah, I mean, obviously the war on Iraq was on false pretenses. Obviously we were in Afghanistan for like fucking 20 years. It was crazy. I have a lot of frustrations with what happened. But yeah, I don't know. I think that, I don't know. I think that it's good to be contemplative about this, and having an area where you get to be, where it's not just hoorah America, is probably good, I guess. I don't even know if I'm saying anything. So maybe the conversation will go in a specific area, but those are just the things I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, thanks so much.
Abstract opening statement.
Well, it's an abstract memorial. It reflects the memorial.
Along with your abstract algebra.
Yeah.
Unity.
Okay. Maybe just submit a picture of the memorial to your teacher, and you'll pass the test.
Hey, they had to use algebra to design this shit.
Yeah.
Probably.
Let's go to our friend Alex Kirch, right? Who was the only white person with the grace to stay out of that conversation about black
grace?
people.
I was inquisitive.
That's but thank you.
Unbelievable.
Super
Oh,
good.
I'm
Are you
right
black,
about Haitians
Prime?
and
You
their
consider
teeth,
yourself
dude.
black.
It's not
I don't know
even.
the fuck you're
You guys
talking
are just
about.
wrong about that.
You're gonna have to
shit.
give me a source here, right? And I'll deal with that later. But thank you, Alex, for kindly being here. We'd love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. First things first. Thank you, Prime, and thank you for everybody for contributing to this panel. So, when Oliver Stone won Best Director for the movie Platoon, because he was a Vietnam veteran, he made it abundantly clear that if we repeat, another Vietnam, we obviously didn't learn our lessons, basically, which is 100% true. That definitely applies to the global war on terrorism. Now, for the record, September 11th, 2001 was my fourth day of basic training. I was at Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and I actually thought that the drill sergeants were playing a trick on us. They weren't, though, of course. That's something that we actually found out. So, when it comes down to the global war on terrorism, the global war on terrorism is never going to end. It's going to be a never-ending, perpetuating cycle, essentially, because we're still involved in fighting a war on terrorism as we speak. Like, if you really think about it, we've got troops right now that are possibly on the verge of possibly being deployed, and hopefully no boots on ground happens in Iran. But the thing is, the war on terrorism is not exactly going to end. Now, based upon what I've read about this statute, they kind of wanted to leave it a little bit ambiguous, not any one in particular, because we have to remember something. Global war on terrorism just didn't apply to Afghanistan and Iraq. We're talking about Syria as well applies, parts of Egypt, pretty much all the countries where there's Islamic radicalism. That's where essentially where the war on terrorism kind of comes into it. But the thing is, like, they kind of like left it open-ended for people to make their own determination about what it is. And because, like I said, there is no simple ending. Like with World War One, the Civil War, it's conflicts that were very direct. They all had a specific purpose that was behind them, essentially. And they all pretty much ended, essentially. Now, with the global war on terrorism, if you want to, they don't actually have any names on there just yet. Now, if you want to put names up for Iraq or Afghanistan, that's one thing. But the thing is, though, is like you can't just put every name of every person that was killed in the conflict, essentially. And while I agree with Corey that, some deaths might, need to be put like their cause of death, essentially, I don't know if they're ever going to do that because some of it's like really kind of hitting close, like kind of like Pat Tillman's a great example because there's a lot of controversy involving his death, which was as a result of fratricide. It's going to require like a lot of input because here we have to remember something. Like the first Vietnam memorial that was done by Maya Lin was also criticized as being too abstract, but now it's considered one of the most powerful memorials in the history of our country, basically. But some veterans don't think it looks like a war memorial. And like I said, it lacks the names of the fallen, and it's too abstract for future generations. No one's going to understand what this means, essentially. It's not going to be specific enough. It doesn't really tell a good story. And here's the thing we need to understand, though. There are times like where people in this country like to lionize and make it seem like, yes, we are always the good guys on things. Well, let's be perfectly honest and let's just call it for what it is, okay? America did not always do good things, especially in Iraq. If you want to talk about the Mahmadiyya massacre, a platoon of soldiers actually went across the street, broke into a house, murdered an entire family, raped the 14-year-old child, and yes, they were sentenced to life imprisonment. But the thing is, these things did happen. And this is something that people need to understand. And these things are war crimes, and people need to understand that war crimes are never okay. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, shit happens in war. No, listen, honestly, that's just like glossing over the fact that innocent people have died. But here's the thing. How do I feel about this? Honestly, I'm a little on the fence myself because I don't mind there being a memorial, but memorials should not be our main focus. If we really want to pay tribute to our veterans, we got to make sure that they got plenty of funding. We got to make sure that their VAs don't close down. We got to make sure that the people that work at the VAs are well taken care of. We also want to make sure that, we're not just throwing drugs in the direction. We actually want to make sure they're getting actual quality care regarding this. That's what I care more about. Now, listen, when every veteran or like especially homeless veterans are off the streets, then we can talk about memorials. But I think our priorities are a little fucked up right now, honestly, because we dedicate more to like memorials and stuff like that than we should be focusing on our civilian populace, especially the veteran community. Now, I don't know how far people are going to want to take this, but that's just my initial beliefs on that, and I'll land there.
Thank you so much, Alex. Let's go to our friend Tom.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm I'm not sure I have like much thoughts on this overall. Like I personally I don't know if I even give a fuck about it at all. But I do think that like memorials are lionizing things. I think that necessarily that's what a memorial is. Like we don't have like Nazi memorials or Confederate memorials. We do have museums that will talk about these things, but we generally don't like memorialize them because it is lionizing to some extent to have the memorial. It's just what is it lionizing? And I think that having the paying tribute to the troops who went over there to fight, I do think that there were things to fight in the war on terror. I do think that there were bad guys to go after. I think that there were people to that should have been found, but whether or not they were actually doing a good job of that or actually even trying after a while is a different story. But I think I was gonna say similar to what Alex said is it seems like a lot of times we spend a lot of money on stuff like this that could be going towards much better use than some weird looking art project for them to feel good about what it is that they did. I think overall, like the government needs to make being a military member look like a good thing. They need to make sure that they are, I guess, paying tribute to those people and making it seem like a glorious job. And so, regardless of how we feel or whether or not they did good things, I think the government still kind of has to make it seem that way one way or the other. So I don't really fault them for any of this, but yeah, I don't know that I have like very specific feelings on it myself.
Thank you so much. And last but not least, our good friend Lagtwit has just made opening statements. Thanks for being here. I'm sure things were hectic in your life, but I appreciate you still making the time.
Muted, I
You're
believe.
muted.
In StreamYard.
As much as I prefer it, I still think.
How am I coming through? Am I coming through now? Perez, sound pretty good?
Yeah.
Привет, comrades. We are here to talk
All right, you should
today
go back on
about
mute. Back on mute.
memorial. Giant statue. Okay. I mean, look. This is apparently not funded at all through taxpayers. This is apparently entirely funded through donations. It's pretty based, right? That's pretty cool. I'm not buying it. I got no problems with a memorial generally. Like if it's dedicated to the lives lost of our American servicemen and women. So that's pretty cool. I think that as much as I despise a lot of the international entanglements that America has gotten into, especially in the Middle East, a lot of people have, given a whole bunch or everything to fight for our country. And unfortunately, I'll say it too, a lot of them were unfortunately misled to their doom, which is sad. And I think that we should remember that too. I think the fact that this is an ongoing war, I mean, you have to pick at some point a time to build a memorial. I'm not confident that there ever would have been a time that we could build this memorial in which we could say, oh, the Middle Eastern wars, thank God they're over. I don't know if we're ever going to hit that point. It seems like this shit keeps coming up over and over and over again, all over the fucking area, and that it's going to keep coming up. And so I think at some point you're going to, make a memorial. This is non-taxpayer funded. It's a memorial to remember the men and women that have died, not the blunders that we've been involved in. So I think it's pretty non-controversial. I think it's pretty good. I would like, though, for when we look at stuff like this, to remember, same thing with the Vietnam Memorial, same thing with maybe less so with the Korean Memorial, but to think about, yes, these men and women gave their lives. And the follow-up question should always be for what, right? That should always be the follow-up question, because the whole point is to try to avoid these kind of memorials in the future. Ideally we should be building things other than memorials if we can avoid it. So
Thank you for that. Tom, we have Confederate memorials. What was that? I don't understand. We have Confederate memorials in this country.
Yeah, but I do understand his point because they are criticized for memorializing and lionizing.
I mean, they're
those
just
they're
now
being taken down
and
a
those were-
lot.
like seriously.
Yeah,
no,
yeah, but
like you
those
said,
those
like,
were
Tom-
those.
Oh, you're talking about, yes, in general there are Confederate memorials. I'm saying there isn't a like Confederate memorial that is like, yeah, that is considered a like a part of this country. Like it's not like
or like state.
it's not something that our
whatever
federal
means.
government. Yes, yeah, it's not something that
Okay.
our like federal government would do or anything like that, right?
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, we had Confederate statues like within like the rotunda, if I'm remembering this correctly. Like in terms of remember those um in fact, well, hopefully I'm not giving misinformation here, but like
Right, but that
within-
is the whole argument against them, though, is that like this is literally, I live in Georgia. When I fight with people about this, when they're like, "Well, this is part of our heritage," I was like, "Well, that's bullshit. Like, we're not celebrating it. It's just part of our history.
Like, you
no,
could just
it's-
put it in
no,
a
it's
museum.
not. Like
No one's
Germany
Well,
doesn't have fucking Nazi statues up of Hitler and shit like that. Like you put it up to memorialize
Ukraine
it, or
does.
you put it up in a fucking museum. Like
Well,
it's one or the other. But
So
if you're
fucking
putting it
annoying.
up in the middle of your fucking city park, then yes, no, you are memorializing this. You are lionizing it.
Well, here's the thing: like a lot of these statues that the Confederate statues were put up, they weren't even put up after the Civil War. They
I was
okay,
just about to say that,
they,
yeah.
they were put up well within the civil rights movement. Let alone the fact
Right.
that in the capital of Tennessee, outside their state capital, they had Nathan Bedford Forrest, a bust of his head. He was actually one of the founders of the KKK, actually. So they were memorializing it. Got like they had this creepy statue off of a main interstate in Tennessee glorifying this guy. And I know like people say, oh, well, you know who found the KKK. It's like, oh, come on, please. It was offshoots of the Confederacy. They realized that they lost, so they fucked off to Tennessee, and then they formed the KKK, and then went on from there. Basically, that's the history of it. I mean,
Look,
that's just the condensed version.
I could easily have my mind changed based off of the conversations that are happening in the memorial, but there's probably quite a bit of a difference between a couple different things. The first, which is a statue of someone who's like objectively evil or like has objectively done harm to the country, like a Robert E. Lee type, or like
But
a
there are
David
Robert E.
Duke
Lee
type.
from what, if I remember, there
Yes.
were people defending.
Correct, and
So-
I'm against those people. I think that it's silly to have a Robert E. Lee
Courageous.
statue.
But
Thank
Even
that,
he thought so.
Thank
but yeah,
even
you
if-
say
but,
you say
even-
objectively evil, but like
Well, even
and I
Robert
don't
E.
get-
Lee said that there shouldn't be statues. He was actually very
What do you-
much against statues.
What's your point, Corey?
No, I'm just.
No, Corey. What's your point?
Oh, okay.
Well, I in my mind, I could be wrong, but like using language of objectively evil is a little bit loaded.
Okay, fine,
Oh.
sure, whatever. Things that people usually tend to
Everything's
not like-
subjective.
I mean, look,
Everything's
I do
subjective.
believe in
I didn't say
subjective
that.
ethics.
I didn't-
I'm not going to
it's
get
not-
into
it's
that.
not the conclusion.
Language
you know,
is
like-
subjective.
Something
really.
we all agree on.
Largely speaking, Americans aren't in favor of and think is bad. Okay, I can use my language a little bit more carefully here. That is probably different from like a Thomas Jefferson who has extremely muddled legacy, right? Like obviously quite a hypocrite, obviously raped his slave, obviously still wrote our foundational document that we still use to this day. So like having a statue of him and then also trying to recognize that sort of contradiction is probably okay. Like that's probably different from having a Robert E. Lee who's just like.
But is that like I'm a fan of Thomas Jefferson, but I don't think that he should be memorial. Or at least I don't think there should be like dedicated. I don't think he should be lionized. I think that
Yeah, but
puts
you don't
him
think
on a
anyone
pedestal.
should be lionized, so like
Yes,
that doesn't
I-
really
yes.
count.
Be true, fair. But
Okay.
like so,
But
okay.
I haven't
go
even
ahead.
really gone through my thing. There's a difference between
Well,
one
too bad.
dude who's
I'm
like
going to
bad,
interrupt for one. No.
one dude who's bad, a second dude who's like muddied, and it's kind of like I don't know, like there's definitely some bad things, but that's not what we're memorializing him for. And the third thing is not a person at all, just like an event that was hard to grasp. And I think that like the first one is like definitely bad, and the second one is like the second and third are all right. Like, and I think that we muddy the waters when we start bringing in the conversations about the first thing.
I would argue that you were like I think you remove the nuance from individuals like Thomas Jefferson because like that's where I don't think people like but due to the fact that he's put on a pedestal, people just automatically granted
on.
like, oh, he must be like an exceptional person.
Hold on.
or the-
there is literally a memorial of Thomas
He
Jefferson
was
in the Black
exceptional.
in the Black American History Museum in DC. I went there and it was fucking incredible. There was this statue of Thomas Jefferson, and then behind him, it said, "All men are created equal." And then you walk into the next room, and it's it's dedicated to Sally Jennings, and it's like,
Okay.
well, like it's meant to show that hypocrisy. So like
Okay, yeah.
you just going like, well, we can't put a statue up. It's like, well, we can't have these conversations actually, and we can.
Okay, no, that is a fair.
Wait a minute, hold on. That's not a
criticism.
memorial, though. I'm not sure. Oh, sorry. Maybe we might actually want to take some time to define what a memorial is.
Sure, I
Um,
can. Sure,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
understand what
Because
you're saying.
like I'm not sure. Yeah. So like I'm not sure if just a statue becomes a memorial, right? Like from like I haven't been to that museum that you're referring to, but from your very short description, right? That just seems like a display that like shows that's supposed to show that a contradiction, right? That's supposed to be like
Or a more
like a
comprehensive view of the
diametrical
person.
against yeah, right. So that seems different from like quote unquote memorial. But I'm
Sure.
willing to get pushback on this one.
Sure, but
don't-
I'm in favor of any sort of like whatever little tablet or no, what are they called? The fucking things in
Plaque?
front of the plaque. Thank
Plaque?
you. That's the
Plaques,
word.
yeah. Fucking
You got
Gen
that
Z.
vocabulary.
Got
yeah,
all that
the-
abstract language.
The plaque in front. I think you could put some controversial stuff in there. You could say, hey, he's a conflicting figure. I think Thomas Jefferson. It's okay to mention that he had slaves and he had daughters. He had children with those slaves, and I believe he enslaved those kids of his. Which is fucking crazy. That's crazy. I could be wrong about that. I don't remember it exactly, but I don't know.
So,
Maybe
well,
that's
are you
on
done? Your
Yeah,
point?
go ahead.
Okay. So a few things, both to Hunter and to Lactoid, but starting with Hunter. So, okay, let's say, for example, magically somehow the war with Iran is ended, next week or next month, and then Trump wants to immediately erect a memorial for that. Are you in favor of that?
Sorry, erected memorial for what?
For the war with Iran?
It depends on what that like. I don't trust it because it's coming from Trump.
Okay. Okay. So you're not in favor of
If
every
it,
memorial.
if it was to the people who like the U.S. service people who died.
It's in the same vein as like your typical like pretty much whatever, come up with abstract art and then names of the people that lost their lives or were injured. during it.
Yeah, I think I'd be okay with that. But like, what I wouldn't be okay with is like a giant statue of Trump with like his head, like foot on like Khomeini's head,
Right,
or whatever.
right, exactly.
like holding up a rifle. Like,
Yeah,
no,
there's gotta be-
I'd have a problem with that.
Yeah, but Hunter, you would be okay with a standard
It'd be
memorial.
kind of badass, but it'd be
You-
It
you'd be okay.
depends. It depends. Not in standard. I wouldn't say standard because standard has a lot of load-bearing language there. I wouldn't
Sure, fair, yes.
like
okay.
the. I think that in World War II, I think it's fair to go a little hoorah. I think it's a little fair to go, yo, we fucking beat
I
the
don't
Nazis
disagree.
here.
That's why I think I said in my opening statement,
Yeah,
like I
I would
lean more
consider
towards
that
the same-
a standard memorial, and I don't think that would be appropriate for the War on Terror.
But you
or
said
for
you
the
seem
Iran
to be in
War.
favor of like just about memorials in general, as in
Yeah.
like you shouldn't. So why not?
You
one
said
with a-
standard, and I'm pushing back against that language.
Okay,
I think
fine.
that we can memorialize things and contextualize them in I think that the memorial does, and like I don't know, maybe people have different interpretations, but it seems a little like, hey, we're not gonna just memorialize every single person who was killed in this war because it's complicated. I think there could be bold statements being made, and it definitely doesn't scream hoorah, and neither does the Vietnam War memorial, which I've been to. Like neither of those really scream hoorah. It's a
I don't
moment of
disagree.
like.
I did say in my opening statement that the ambiguity of the global war on terrorism might be reflected in the design. Of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
memorial.
yeah. And the Vietnam War is very contemplative. There's like a mirror, and it's very like you sit there and you feel, and it's just sort of like it's kind of dark. And it
Oppressive.
feels, yeah, definitely. Like it's not a great feeling, and I think it's on purpose, and I think those are good memorials that are like, let's think about this, and like,
Well, then, like, is it really a memorial? I get
Well,
that's
okay.
a philosophical question. But
well,
like,
then I would say what we're discussing right now, the War on Terror, is not a memorial. Then,
okay, no, that's
so
fair.
then,
But
then your conversation about a memorial is not part of this conversation.
applicable, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. But then to Lactoid, would your feelings change on this memorial if it was taxpayer funded?
He'd just be against
Yeah.
it on principle, though.
to be against it on principle. I think it
Fair
mostly. Although, I mean, I would just be, but I'd be pretty mildly against it, right? I mean, I don't think this is going to make or break the U.S. debt crisis.
Yeah, that's
But
another.
yeah, the fact that it's not taxpayer funded makes me a lot more okay with it. I'll say that.
That's another thing. I'm gonna criticize a little bit. Shoot, I'm sorry. The fuck, what is your name?
Alex.
Going after my
Alex.
friends here.
Going after Alex. I apologize. Not by that much. Not really by that much. But like this conversation about like why don't we give vets health care? Why are we giving them a memorial? Like it is pennies to thousands of dollars in terms of, and that's in in reference to a penny. It is probably 10,000 times the budget of this memorial. So the conversation about a budget often gets like I'm happy to have conversations about big scale items like that, but in terms of a memorial that probably costs like, I don't know, how much did it cost, like $1 million to be made? I don't know. I made that number up. Maybe it's not. But it always feels weird in terms of like giving every vet healthcare is such a huge cost. That's like, I would bet like 5% of our budget. I don't know. I also made that number up. Who knows? But
I did. I watched
Fair
a
enough.
bunch of like other people from
Make up those numbers on that
the
math
war
exam tomorrow.
In a bunch of people from like the war in Afghanistan and crap talking about the fact that they've like kind of been waiting for this for a while, and that a lot of them are upset that like so many people have continued to die after like not even being part of the war anymore, and that they would like for it to be built soon enough to where it's actually like some people are still alive to actually see it. And to that point, I guess that makes sense of it. When I look at I think it was the Vietnam memorial, even though the World War II memorial I think was built in like 2002, the Vietnam memorial was built in like the 80s. So there's it seems like some of these are built fairly quickly and then others are built way later.
Well, here when it comes down to memorials, like I've already stated that like I'm a little on the fence about it. I'm okay with them putting it up there, but like I said, if you're gonna put down like Iraq, you're gonna put down those that were killed in action, fine. Afghanistan killed in action, fine. That's great.
What about friendly
It-
fire? Does that happen even? I don't actually know.
I don't think it's
course
ever
it
happened. I
happens.
don't think it's
No, as in
no.
like it's included in the memorial. Like this person
Yeah,
died
you
by
listed
friendly
as a
fire.
name. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
guessing they probably just list them as killed in action. I don't.
they're
I don't
just gonna
think
put it down
that's
as list.
good.
They're not gonna put it down as killed. That's all it's gonna be, like killed in action. Like you could literally like die in a rollover and you're still technically killed in action essentially. But the thing is there's actual websites that actually tell you like how people died. Like I can't remember. It's like Faces of the Fall, and you can literally look it up and it'll tell you how that person actually died.
AI
It'll tell you, like,
says
yep.
AI says that they're routinely included in lists, but that's whatever. Obviously, AI could be.
Which model? Which?
Google?
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
fucking know. What does Google use?
Gemini.
like-
We'll move on. Come on, Alex.
Yeah, but the thing is like my only thing is just like a memorial is a great way to like take kind of reflect on it. And like I said, they keep it kind of open ended to like let everybody encourages reflection instead of just telling people what they should be thinking. But again, like when it comes down to a concept of war is a very, very complex thing, and I'm a firm believer that
That's
war
why we
happens
need
because
to
of failed.
pick the reflecting pool.
Well, and the thing is, like, war happens because of failed diplomacy, and a memorial. I see it there, but it's not really going to tell. Okay, why did this war happen? Because we all agree on here that the war in Iraq was not justified, and I'm sure some people's like, well, there are some like positives to it that like we overthrew a dictator, but that's not why we went there. We went there for supposed WMDs and stuff. Afghanistan, like we were there for 20 years and we gained nothing from it, basically. Like, and these are hard lessons and hard pills for us to swallow. But the thing is, though, is like it's people that make these decisions. Most of the people that are okay with sending us off to war never even served one day in the military, and it's unfortunate. Like, but the thing is like in a monument like this or a memorial like this, yes, you can have the memorial, but where's the actual lesson? Like, is that for somebody else to teach, or are they just going to expect people to kind of like, oh yes, we went over there, we kicked ass, we took names, end of story? Like, that's the thing I'm worried about. Like, everyone says, oh yeah, we did such great things in Vietnam. No, we didn't actually. There was the My Lai massacre is a great example of, U.S. troops going way over the fucking top and committing massive war crimes. But we don't like to teach this stuff in school because people don't like us to be portrayed as the bad guy, and that's a problem. Like,
I'm gonna
I don't
be-
think
I'm
it,
gonna be
I don't think
so
it
honest.
feels too raw.
yeah,
Yeah, I would like Vietnam War is definitely nuts. Like you could maybe provide some massacres for like World War II. We definitely go hoorah. I think Vietnam we for sure go. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
I think, and even in the moment, there was so much public backlash to it. There was like, I don't know. I think that we are a little bit nuanced about the Vietnam
Yeah.
War. And I don't think anyone really. I don't know what people you're talking to, but I've never really met people who are in favor of the Vietnam War. Even
Admiral Gibbs.
Okay, well, he doesn't
Cognitive-
count as a person, so
Well,
that's.
well,
I,
cognitive
I, I,
dissonance-
I think we could have. I think we could have prosecuted Vietnam in a way that I would have been okay with,
Mhm.
but I just don't think we did. And I think that's like I think the other side of the argument is because nobody's going to call Vietnam a success.
Right.
Admiral
Nobody.
Gibbs probably would.
No, I don't even. No, not even Admiral Gibbs. He would
I
say
don't
like,
would call it
"Fuck, we
success.
lost it. We got to go back in." That's what he would say.
True.
Fuck.
That is
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Cognitive dissonance actually said at least we got Rambo out of it, which is pretty
Yeah,
funny
just when they
Well, that's a good
when
point,
they least see
actually.
it coming. Now that we've lulled them into a sense of security, right?
Yeah.
By
A
being
long-term
allies with
strategy.
Vietnam, right? Yeah, by being allies and major trading partners with them. Now's the time to strike.
They're not expecting it coming. Yeah. So,
Our plan all along.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I
that's
like
becoming
the.
capitalist. Sorry, go ahead.
I like the circular nature, like the nature of the memorial. Like it does to me feel like it's never ending. It's like it would have been better if they turned it
Is
into
that what
an
you
infinite-
want? A never.
Well, no, that's not what
No, but
that's
it's
not what I want.
reflective.
But
It's like-
that's reflective.
This
Yeah,
shit,
art.
this shit continues.
What I would like to them to do is to like twist it into an infinity sign. That would be awesome. That'd be really good.
That would actually be more accurate.
It is
because the
really
thing
pretty.
It's
I'll
because
be
it's
right
never
back,
going to end.
but I can still
Like,
hear you.
Okay.
The war on terror is something that's never. If you want to be completely realistic, it's never going to end. There's always going to be some asshole that's just got to detonate a car bomb someplace somewhere, and it's going to affect us. It's going to piss us
Asshole.
off somehow, and we're going to have to go do something about it. I mean, it's a never-ending cycle essentially. I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but it's just true though. I mean, like the best movie that I can think of that accurately portrays the global war on terrorism is the movie The Kingdom with Jamie Foxx. I mean, yeah, granted, they're not going to solve a crime that quickly, but that's exactly how the cycle is. You don't know who the good guy or the bad guy is, and you'll never find out until it's too fucking late, basically. That's like why I say it's one of the best movies out there when it accurately represents the global war on terrorism.
Well, I think what's really interesting is, we were all saying, yeah, it's sort of cyclical in that like it continues on, and we all sort of agree, like, man, that is what happens. And then Corey's like, yeah, but is that what we should be like? Is that how it ought to be? And like, obviously not. I don't think that memorial is supposed to reflect how it ought to be, though. I think it's just like it's a look at ourselves as human beings and go, isn't it the case that when we get smacked and you're the biggest guy on the field, you want to go bash some teeth in? You want to go smack someone on the concrete and smash their face in until they bleed out, and you get to feel good about yourself and you get to feel like no one can hurt you? Like, isn't that just a recurring cycle of nature that I would hope we can move forward? Obviously, we all think we should move forward from that. But
Well,
like,
I don't know that's obvious, but I take your point.
everyone
really
here
kinda
does,
depends.
though.
yeah. So,
Well, it depends on what
although Gibbs
field
isn't
that you're
here.
fighting on. It depends on like if you're fighting in a predominantly urban conflict, it's gonna be way different than how you're fighting a rural conflict, like out in the middle of Korengal Valley in Afghanistan. Like the way you wage war, it's like that's the thing. Like it's an ever changing battlefield, and the thing is like even over there, like while we say we're on defense on offense, we were actually playing a lot of defense over there because here's the thing, like the Taliban is a great example. These guys were terrific when it came to utilizing the terrain against us because the one thing that, and this is also happening in Ukraine and Russia, is if you knock out a logistics supply line, because logistics were the most attacked units in theater, and there's a reason for that, because they know if you knock out a logistics convoy, it's going to get harder for them to actually be able to deliver those materials to whoever needs those things. Like in Korengal, there was like this mountain, like now I wasn't in Korengal, but there's like this mountain where it was like really just a straight drop down. The Taliban actually attacked the front vehicle and the rear vehicle and it basically pinned them. They had nowhere to go. It really kind of depends on how the wars that you waged are fought, basically. And if your enemy can actually control the higher elevation or control the terrain, they pretty much have a high advantage. It doesn't matter if they have like, rocks and slingshots and rocket propelled grenades. It doesn't matter. Like you could throw whatever technology you have. They could bury themselves inside. It's really, really, it depends on the scenario you're in. But the thing is, we just don't seem to learn from these things. And that's why if we were to put boots on grounds in Iran, it would be devastating because it's much more mountainous and it's much more devastating terrain than it was in Afghanistan.
Afghanistan's pretty mountainous. I don't know. I think it'd definitely be harder than
I
with
don't
Iraq.
think Iran is the same as Afghanistan. I think Iran would be
Yeah, I also
like,
agree
way
that
easier, especially considering the terrain.
I would also say that sometimes I think we're mixing a lot of the intentionality of these wars, which is sometimes I don't know. I don't like the war on terror definitely does seem to be its own. I don't know if I would classify is Iran
Like the
considered
war
part of
on
the war on
drugs.
terror?
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
let's be
Trump probably
honest.
considers it. He-
Let's be honest. The war on terror is just U.S. involved conflicts in the Middle East. That's what it is.
Sure.
I mean, that's what it is, straight up.
No, yeah,
And maybe North Africa too, and maybe like a little bit of Somalia. Like just
Sure,
generally
sure.
like that band of like geography, like that is what we consider to be the terrorism, the fight on terrorism.
Mhm.
Even though does it actually happen elsewhere? For sure. But that's what we're talking about. So we're talking about Iraq. We're talking about Afghanistan. I think those two mostly. Probably a little bit of Iran. And then maybe some like Libya, Syria, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if we lost
it sometimes
anybody
feels so weird because
in Libya.
the conflicts have evolved so much over the last 20 years. Like as much as we're saying it's so cyclical, like I don't know, I do think the reasonings for these wars are pretty fundamentally different. And American
Yeah,
I
I feel
disagree.
like Iran.
Really?
I don't know.
I
Yeah,
feel like Iran is drastically different.
I so disagree. Every time, what's the justification? They have a weapon of mass destruction,
Yeah,
or they're
yeah,
about
yeah,
to get a
but
weapon of mass destruction.
The big
We got to stop them, or they pose some kind of national security threat. I
the
mean,
big
so
the big distinction I'm gonna point to is American attitude, and it is vastly changed since like early 2000s and now. Like back then, we were wanting someone to go to war with. Like
well,
I
that's because
I still
you
remember
were-
that
you had
fucking
September 11.
we
yeah,
got
we got
that.
hit pretty hard on that one.
No, of course that's what I'm saying. No, I know that. Obviously, it's not justified. It's explainable. It makes sense why we did it.
Sure.
Why we were so angry.
Which had nothing to do with Iraq, by the way. But a lot
No, of
people
course.
just
I know.
merged
Like
the two.
no, obviously. And fucking Bush, he recognized people just wanted to go to war with someone, and so he's like, well, fucking Iraq.
That guy's kind of evil. Why? Let's just
yeah. And Iran definitely feels like I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's for American. It's because Americans are cheering for it. It feels like it's because Trump just sort of wants to suck Netanyahu's dick, and Netanyahu attacked them. So I don't know. It does. Maybe that's a distinction without a difference. I don't know what you guys feel, but like
We
But then-
pretty,
Well,
I-
no,
we
in,
pretty much
in
been at war for
9/11,
most
we
of
were
our.
actually attacked though, like, and there was like terrorism happening. Whereas with Iran, they're like it's true that they're like the biggest state-sponsored terrorist country, but the difference is that's not the reason that we're going to Iran. We're not going to Iran for this. When you say like
no, I agree. Yeah.
oh well it's they have weapons of mass destruction, it's just not at all similar to the scenarios before,
It's very
because
similar to
in this
Iraq.
case they were it's not at all because in this case they were actually enriching uranium. They like it's a
That is a pretty big
drastically
difference.
No,
different
no, hold
thing.
on. Wait, stop. I'm talking about in terms of the justification and the what's being proposed here for our action. When we went to Iraq, we had Dick Cheney saying that Iraq was either had or was imminently about to
They have
acquire weapons of mass destruction. Dick Cheney said this.
And you'll
Yeah.
you'll be greeted
Yes.
as
I understand.
liberators.
Yeah.
He sold this to the American people. This is the exact same justification for going in. The primary, are there other ones for sure, but there was other ones when it came to Iraq too. Saddam Hussein was not a good guy.
Right.
And yes, and Iran for sure is a major state sponsor of terror, including Hamas, which just October 7th carried a massive attack on civilians. And then we have the fucking Houthis, and yeah, it's a problem for sure. But the main justification that kind of goes back to is this, they have a weapon of mass destruction, or they're imminently going to get one. We have to intervene to stop them. We use this with Iraq. We use this with Iran. We didn't really use it with Afghanistan, but with that one, it was more we already had the attack to justify that one, right? Like they're not working with us when it comes to getting Osama. And look what he did to New York. So obviously we have to go into Afghanistan. I think we did have a different justification for that, but ultimately it was sort of the same underlying justification, which is national security. This is the thing that's sold. We have to go over there so they don't fuck with us over here.
That is
is
just like
that
every
is-
intervention, like just justified by national security, basically.
Yeah,
that's what
pretty
he's
much.
saying. I don't disagree.
The Germans were a little more honest about it. There was like, we want to live there, so move or die. That was pretty much what they said.
Would you be in favor of that U.S. foreign policy?
No, I would not be in favor of that U.S. foreign policy. Although it would be nice if I didn't get told that Iran was on the verge of getting a nuclear weapon every 5 years. Like, at some point, the verge needs to be,
Well, it can't now because it was obliterated. I think last year they have no capability.
Yeah,
It was
true.
obliterated.
I guess we're good
Well,
now. We don't.
You
Well,
can
Netanyahu-
sleep soundly now.
Netanyahu's been saying for 30 years that they are 2 weeks away,
Right.
2 weeks away, 2 weeks away.
weeks
He's been
away,
saying
yeah.
it for 30 years. He's been saying this crap, and he's been wrong every single time. So that's one person we definitely got to get rid of, but that's never going to happen. That dude's going to be in office until he freaking dies, probably. So unfortunately,
There is a little bit of like, Boy Who Cried Wolf, though. Like, we know that Iran has centrifuges, right? It is possible that they do actually get a nuke at some point, and then, maybe I might have egg on my face if they actually do something crazy with it.
well,
but
honestly, they were no. But the thing is, like, even the IAEA chair said that they were nowhere near close to it, and even Tulsi Gabbard, which I can't stand her, but even she said that they were nowhere near close to being a threat, and they said, "Fuck you, we're
She's
gonna
great.
do what the fuck we want to." And they just did it anyway. So it just goes to show it doesn't
Yeah, but
matter what the
nothing
intelligence
she
is.
says really counts.
What?
She's
Yeah, I
fantastic.
mean-
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
All right.
So fantastic. She resigned, although I guess due to illness. From
Well,
her
that
husband.
was
her
that was
husband's
her
illness.
husband, yeah.
Due
To
to
her
the-
She was
husband.
she was one of the I think I said this before in the panel. I think she was like the one I was most excited about.
Yeah, you've said multiple
Oh my
times.
goodness.
For her, and I liked Elon as well, but I was really pumped for Tulsi.
How's your SpaceX?
And now
stock?
she's
Is it
leaving.
going good?
I think so. I bought it. at
Well, that's why you were
IPO.
so bullish on the war with Iran, because you're like, no way is that going to happen.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah, I had
Tulsi's
so
in
many.
charge.
I had so many good reasons to think that wasn't going to happen. The first one being is that back when I'm still positive on my. Yep, still positive.
How much?
$3. So with hey, that's $3 I didn't
It's
otherwise
looking
wouldn't
up.
have. Still beats inflation. But like you have
No way.
John Bolton, who's like the big pro-Iran hawk. He gets fired by Trump because he can't stop talking about wanting to bomb Iran. And I thought I thought we had a lot of the like kind of more neocon hawk Republicans sort of sequestered into at least a little bit of geopolitical irrelevancy. But apparently, Lindsey Graham, he's going to get his wish. There's a whole bunch of shit going on now that he's wanted forever, wanted. He's dead.
Hooray.
Well, I'm not going to say hooray. I disagree
I
with
will.
him
Don't worry, I'll do
geopolitically
it for you.
strongly. But yeah, I really did. And then Tulsi Gabbard, who literally sold shirts saying "No war with Iran," and I was like, "You
Yeah,
picked
but
her.
Yeah, they got
This is gonna be
she-
based." And
will
then it
always-
happened.
She
Do
will
you know
always. How do you not recognize that she's going to do whatever that is to her advantage? As
I
her
don't think-
actual
no,
values and principles.
yeah,
And
I don't know. I don't think she did anything when she did not come out and support Trump's actions in Iran. She didn't come out and be like,
Well,
let's
but
bomb
she
Iran.
didn't condemn them. She didn't like reiterate her
Yeah,
message.
that's tougher. I agree. When you're hired by somebody,
That's how you stand on principle and values. Is actually doing the tough thing.
yeah,
I-
getting
no, no,
fired
no,
immediately.
no,
You're
no,
right.
no,
You're
she
right.
did
Getting
change
fired
it.
immediately.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
She-
Okay. Sure.
Lose
all power.
She did change her tone on Iran when she got frozen out. We saw that. And in any case, right? Who else sold T-shirts? Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris sold T-shirts. She had T-shirts ready to go. When during the debate with presidential debate with Joe Biden, she hit him with that line. I was that little girl talking about the school busing thing, right? And then later
Yeah, it
on,
was
she
a
just like,
bullshit line.
yeah,
And Tulsi
and then,
eviscerated her.
and then later on, she you're right, actually, yeah, she did. Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Um,
she did.
She actually
but
did.
then-
Yeah.
But
Pretty
then
sick.
later on, she like took it back, right? It's like, oh yeah, I would do the same thing for busing. I'll make the same decision that Joe Biden made in terms of like trying to end school busing or not supporting school busing.
Tulsi never
Very
said
much
she
like-
would go to war with Iran. I would do the
Um,
same thing Trump would do. She never said that. There's no way.
Oh, hold on. Did I say
No,
that?
no. Kamala said that. He's saying.
No, I know. I thought you were
Okay.
drawing comparison between what Kamala did with Biden
A
and
direct
what
announcement.
Oh no,
Tulsi
no,
did
no, no,
with-
no, exactly. I'm just saying
Okay,
that like
sure.
you can just put lots of things on a shirt. It was my only point.
Oh,
Um,
sure. Yeah, you could.
Yeah, yeah.
Put lots of
Yeah,
things
yeah.
on a shirt. Yeah.
Um,
one order
Definitely
online, really. You
both-
can put whatever you
yeah.
want on a shirt.
So,
Kamala would have been 100 times better though.
so
Don't talk to
Iran-
Prime about that.
Yeah. He's
Boo.
trying to beat me. It's cool. But in terms of
No, he just expected you to be a rational human being.
So
Yeah,
speaking
this
about
expected
memorials,
you to be
no
a
bait
human.
there.
so,
here I got a
Iran-
Just a
question.
human, really.
Speaking about memorials, what do we think about funding a country that has literal Nazi memorials? What do you guys think about that?
Shut the fuck
What
What do you guys think about that one, huh? Literal Nazis that worked with Hitler. What are your thoughts on that one, huh?
I think it's weird that my taxpayer
You're talking
dollars
about
are going
Donald
to a country
No, he's
with,
talking about
Confederate
Ukraine. Are you guys
memorials.
fucking dumb?
Yeah, we are aware of that.
We know what he's talking.
Okay. Yeah. So
Wait. Well, here's
Iran-
wait, I'll kind of relate it to the topic real quick.
It is
Okay,
related to the topic.
So, for example, Poland recently stripped their Order of the White Eagle because Ukraine held a funeral service for Melnik, who was a major World War II kind of Nazi figure. Do you think any country should strip us of any orders or recognition, depending on what kind of memorials we do? Like we talked about, maybe not this one, but like the Confederate ones are pretty bad, right? Like, would we
Yeah.
find it disrespectful if like Mexico said "fuck you"?
I wouldn't.
Or what about once the Mexican-American War? I mean, we took a bunch of shit
wouldn't-
from them.
I wouldn't want them to do it for the memorials. I wouldn't want them to do for the actual racist, destructive, imperialist actions that we take. Right. That's why punitive action should be taken against us. But so something more substantive than that. Okay. So going back to again, I apologize because I had to step away for a little bit. But I was hearing what you were saying. Yes, the Iran War. Right. There are clear parallels between the Iran War and the Iraq War. I think our friend Lactwood was correct there. In terms of why we went there, the excuse that was given to the domestic audience was quite similar. In fact, they just kind of like speed ran the Iraq War a playbook, right, for Iran, right? Like they didn't bother to do that. The very long buildup. They had to say, who knows? Like, there's a lot of weapons and like this evidence just keeps piling up and then going to the UN doing all that. They're just like, no. Like Israel told us once again that they're seconds away from a nuclear a mushroom cloud appearing in Miami, and so we had to strike. So like yeah, these are clear parallels here. Also, Iran should get themselves a nuclear weapon. That only makes sense for them, right? The U.S. is clearly untrustworthy. Once again, we're back
Canada
in the
needs a
war.
nuclear weapon.
Yeah. Sorry, Canada.
Yeah.
Over my fucking dead body.
I
will
mean,
go to war with Canada so fast.
They can
think they deserve
have a nuclear
anything.
weapon once they've been annexed by us, right?
Yeah, once they're
and
the
we'll be-
51st state, they will
Yeah.
have a nuclear weapon.
No,
Exactly,
we need to
right?
crank up our centrifuges.
They'd
You're
be
a lo-
50. We combine 2 other states. I can't fight for a country with 51 states.
100 per thank
Yeah,
you.
that works.
Oh,
We'll
OCD,
combine the
I can't.
Dakotas. I don't fucking
Yeah, yeah.
care.
No.
Um,
You guys, no. If you guys get a blue state, we got to combine 2 of the blue states. Keep it fair.
That's all right. Well, what do you suggest?
Something in fucking
New England,
I
maybe?
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, like New
Nah,
Hampshire,
it's either
Vermont
the
and-
Dakotas
Vermont
or
and New
the
Hampshire.
Carolinas.
I'm okay with that.
So, yeah. Anyway,
Nice.
Iran is similar in the way that our friend Lactwood was pointing out. And it's interesting. I think the question of like what counts as a global war on terror. I think Iran definitely counts just for no other reason, right? Ignoring everything else, for no other reason that George W. Bush, in the State of the Union address, listed Iran as part of the axis of evil, right? That was, I think it was Iraq, Iran, and North Korea, if I remember correctly. Someone can
Yeah,
correct
that's
me if
right.
I'm wrong. Yeah. So like that was a huge moment in time when he said those, right? Like those nations, when he labeled that like framed how the nation, right, the American nation, society, viewed it. Who is the enemy? What had to be done, right? Like, what are the targets? Literally, Iran sent like condolences, like after 9/11, because they didn't have anything fucking to do with it, right? They weren't part of that. They sent condolences to America, and then they were surprised when that statement happened, right? And it was just like one. Like it wasn't like Bush who came up with that. Bush was a moron, right? Yet another idiot Republican. But
He was
like
actually
it was
pretty
one of his.
smart. Unfortunately.
Well, with, the, with
Unfor-
Trump as the
unfortunately.
baseline, with
Comparison
Trump
to
as the
Trump.
baseline, yes, Bush.
No,
is
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
no,
it's
no,
very
not in
smart,
not
yeah.
not in comparison to
Yeah.
Trump. I'm saying
Yeah.
generally, as the presidents go, he was relatively high IQ. He
Yeah, the
made-
guy
made-
who says
He
many
tripped
major
over his own
mistakes.
words. He tripped over his
he
own
tripped,
words.
he
that's
tripped
what-
over his own words a lot,
Yeah.
but he for
Mm.
sure like was not stupid. Unfortunately,
He was just no. I would say Bush was easily influenced because I think Dick Cheney was a smooth talker. That dude was a snake oil salesman. He was thinking, oh, big money for Halliburton and all the other fucking KBR contractors. Like that. I wouldn't say like George Bush was very easily influenced by the people that he surrounded himself with.
Sorry, I didn't mean to distract us. I didn't think I would get pushed back on like George Bush being smart. Okay, interesting. We'll have to talk.
I
about
think
that
he's
later.
I think he's the worst president, to be clear.
we-
But I don't think he was stupid.
We can
based.
bookmark that conversation.
That's pretty
But in any case,
based.
the point that I was trying to get to was that it was one of his speech writers, right? Was it David Brooks? I don't know who was the one, right? But like it's a name that's known among like the political intelligentsia types, right? Whoever, someone can look it up, right? Who put that in to
can we?
the Axis of Evil? Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's out there.
I
It's,
appreciate that, guys.
yeah.
We can all
anyway-
look things up if we want to.
Okay, I'm the point is that like that was placed within, and then like George Bush was like, oh yeah, I guess this is fine, and I'll read that, right? And Iraq was also surprised, right? Because Saddam Hussein was like, oh, the United States is going to come to me, right? Like we are going to work together, we're going to get these guys, I'm going to be their man in the Middle East, just like I was before. Yeah, it'll be a collaboration. But then they're being told, oh, you're part of the war on terror. Like they were fighting these motherfuckers for years beforehand, right? Like Al Qaeda was their enemy. Like these types of people were exactly the type that like Saddam was keeping a lid on. He was shocked. But anyway, yeah. But still, again, like the point of where I was going with this was like what is included in the global war on terror, right? Like, okay, well, if it's the people who directly attacked us, okay, well then within Afghanistan that makes more sense. But Afghanistan itself didn't attack us. It was, a group that was in Afghanistan, right? Like we would feel the same that group was based in Canada. I don't know. We would feel that. I'm curious if we'd have the same reaction. But it was a group within Afghanistan. They attacked us, and so we attacked Afghanistan. Okay, part of the global war on terror. And then Iraq was, we were told, yes, they were also part. They attacked us too, and they're about to attack us again. And so that's part of the global war on terror. And then I like what our friend Alactua had talked about before, because he expanded this, talked about like what was happening in North Africa and maybe more Central Africa as well, where we've had, it's not part of our national conversation really, but like we've had massive bombing campaigns against like those various splinter groups, right? Al Qaeda splinter groups or other terrorist splinter groups. That just like happens in the background and we don't even discuss. I mean, people get killed, right? And some people get killed over there, but like we don't even talk about that stuff. Like I can't like even give you like a good accounting of any of that. But that happened, right? Hey, here's an honest question. Should we count Liberia? I think that's what one I'm thinking of. As part of the global war on terror, right? Where the president was, killed, sodomized. Liberia is what I'm thinking of. Hopefully, starts with L.
You're thinking Libya. You're talking about Muammar Gaddafi.
Libya. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Muammar
I always
Gaddafi.
get that confused. Thank you so much.
It's okay.
Yeah, Libya. Thank you so much. Libya. Yeah, should Libya be considered part of the war on terror? Right?
Isn't it
It's-
classically or no?
But is it? I mean, like again, like it wasn't for like it was like what the U.S. did was we intervened against like the government, right? The Liberian government against Muammar Gaddafi,
Libyan.
right? With my Libyan. Fuck me. I do
It's all
apologize.
good. It's all good. It happens.
But we intervened against the Libyan government and with a bunch of groups that were there that were fighting against them. And so like is that part of the war on terror? Like I don't know. Like do you guys like honest question, do you guys think of it as part of that?
It could be classified that because like we've seen like a downfall and like we've seen an increase in activity in those regions, so it could be counted as that. Now if you deploy troops to that area like the Sinai Peninsula, they might see action there, so yes, it could be classified as a war on terror. But that what happened in Libya and Egypt when we ousted Mubarak and then Morsi came in from the Muslim Brotherhood, then he was ousted eventually, that was all part of the Arab Spring, which that was one of the worst decisions that Obama ever made, ousting all those guys. Like, listen, don't get me wrong, Mubarak wasn't a good dude. Gaddafi wasn't a good dude, but that's not we ousted him for really stupid ass geopolitical reasons and whatnot, and we completely destabilized all those regions across. So it could be counted as a global war on terrorism because then, of course, you'll hear the favorite Republican buzzword, oh, Benghazi, their favorite buzzword. They still don't shut up about it, basically, even though it's been investigated from here to fucking Timbuktu, basically.
If only
But-
Gibbs was here. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know, but like the thing is like it could be classified as part of a global war on terrorism, but it's like it's not the main focus of the global war on terrorism. I know that was long-winded, but you had to go into
Yeah, no,
context.
it was an honest question. I'm not sure how to characterize that. It's an intervention that we made in that area, right? Like if we're going by a friend Latour's definition, then maybe it should be counted because it's within that geographical area. It's
I would count it.
against. You would count it, okay?
Yeah.
Why? But why
Anything in
would you
Libya I
count
would
it?
count. Because it's within that geographical area, right? Because our justifications for it were, just like all of the other conflicts over there were, with exception maybe for Afghanistan at least the beginning, were pretty kind of nebulous, not super like clear exactly. And so yeah, with Libya, we declared no-fly zone, and there was a bombing campaign. Arguably, for whatever we care about it, Obama very well may have violated the War Powers Resolution on that one. So, because he was there longer than
Another
60
reason to put
days.
him in jail. Great, I agreed.
And we bombed the shit out of that, and in large part because Gaddafi was a war criminal. Gaddafi was bad for this reason, supporter of kind of regional terrorism, and then he since has not a good guy, of course. Now we have a failed state, which is has no stability and open slave
A
market.
source of terrorism, yeah, and a source of terrorism because that's of course there's no government to oppose him there. So anyway, that's my thought there.
But it's all. I also think that terrorism has a definition that you can use accurately or in
Or
specific
broadly for whatever
contexts,
you
right?
want.
I guess you could. But I think that the common the meaning the word has taken on really has been just like American intervention in the Middle East and North Africa. When we talk about Haiti, where arguably a lot of the gangs there operate as terrorists, or the cartels who operate as terrorists, we call them cartels, or in Haiti we call them armed gangs. Or the vernacular the Americans use is just different when it comes to those areas, despite the fact that activity is very similar in a lot of regards. Really, when if somebody commits a mass shooting in Iraq, or if the person is from the Middle East who commits a mass shooting in a different country,
motivations
we
are
call that
completely
terrorism.
different. No, that's stupid. The definition of terrorism is about political motivations. When we're talking about a fucking cartel, their motivation is to make money and sell drugs and sell guns and shit like that. To try to say that this is anywhere similar to what's happening with
No, it makes perfect
actual
sense for Haiti.
terrorist cells. where
No.
they're-
It makes there's everything's on the spectrum, right? And these cartels have actually fought the
Become the
government, or
government
tried to destabilize the
certain
government,
areas.
right? They've kidnapped government officials.
Right.
high
No,
levels
wait,
government
hold
officials.
on. I'm saying that it's not all that nebulous of a term where you're saying that we just use these terms all interchangeably depending on that they could all mean the same thing, but we just if it's in the Middle East, then we just call them terrorist cells now instead of a cartel or something like that. And I'm saying that that's fucking ridiculous because obviously they have religious and political motivations instead of just wanting to make money like a cartel.
I get where I get where Lacto is coming from as far as because the thing is that a lot of these cartels are embedded within the Mexican government or other parts of South American governments and whatnot. That part could make sense, but here's my only real contention with that is the thing is if it was completely a war on terrorism, then we would also
Yes,
be
but they're
fighting that
embedded in
war.
the governments for money. That's why it's for money.
No, it's not just for money. They're also want to become the government in certain areas. There are certain areas in which the cartel governs, and they have propaganda videos, and they quite literally have political conflicts with each other. And then in Haiti, you have armed gangs, which are I could call them terrorist groups, that they're quite literally are occupying and governing certain areas of Haiti. And when there's a central government that tries to do anything, the terrorists fucking shoot them and blow them up and do all sorts of Yeah, I
we
guess
saw
it's not
similar
religious,
behavior
but
in
it's
the Middle East,
definitely seems
though.
political. It definitely seems
Yeah.
political. Maybe not
Well,
religious.
but I gotta finish my point though, because like here's the thing, like the real difference here is that if we really were fighting a war on terror against like cartels or drug dealers or some shit like that, then we would be doing the exact same shit. Like we'd be treating every single drug dealer or cartel member that's here in the United States the exact same way, but we're not though. Because the thing is, like when we see like these boats, like we blow them up, but we know absolutely nothing about them. Some of them actually turn out to be fishing
that's
boats.
exactly what I was trying to
Yeah.
jump in to say, right? But like, but to push back against what you're saying, and
Mhm.
that like now we're expanding this language, right? Calling them those boats, right, narco terrorists.
Yeah.
Right? That's the language being used, and
Yeah.
and I want to use that to compliment what a friend Latchwood was talking about, like how the language has been used, like and like how we deploy these things, because it's actually very important. This is extremely important because, like, yes, who do we call a terrorist, right? And then what is the natural response once like this person or group, right, is noted as a terrorist? Because because the way it works in America is that once you're given that moniker, then we can have a national security response, right? Then it
Well, there's
bypasses any. One second, I'd love to hear what you have to say. It bypasses like our court system, which is why we can go and assassinate Omar al-Awlaki, right? And was it in Afghanistan? We just like kill him and then kill his family members in separate strikes, and say like, well, even though he was an American citizen, he was a terrorist, right? And for national security, whatever, right? Another reason we should arrest Obama. That we can just take him out that way. And then so when we're talking about these narco terrorists, well, why are we doing this, right? Like, okay, if they have drugs in the boats, when most of these boats don't have drugs in the boat, we have no evidence of that. They present no evidence of that. Every so often, some of them have weed. But like in any case, if for these strikes, right? What's the point of calling them terrorists? Well, like that means we don't have to like detain the boats, right? The thing that we would normally do is detain these boats, and then put them through some sort of justice system. But we don't have to do that anymore because now it's national security. And now what we do with national security, we drone strike. We've established that already, right? Once it becomes national security, that means extrajudicial murders is what we can do. That these are the powers that are unleashed just by framing it as terrorism. So like now we have a narco terrorism. That's a brand new thing, right? Narco terrorism is a brand new thing. Not that like in Afghanistan we didn't have drug dealers, because we did actually, right? Drug dealers part of like because of the poppy fields.
Opium.
Like
Opium was very,
actual
very
drug
widespread.
trade
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But we didn't
Opium
call
was
them
very
narco
widespread.
terrorists. Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like
Well, so-
what language we use to deploy is actually. Go ahead. Sorry.
So okay, I got like 10 problems with this. So
Sure.
I agree that like the term terrorism is nebulous. It's very subjective, and you can like what is political, what isn't. Like the United States going into Afghanistan, they can be considered terrorists now because they're going in there for political reasons or whatever. Like this, I agree to the idea that terrorism is a subjective term that can be used very loosely. The problem with like the bombing of the boats though is that this is like the whole issue that everybody had with it was that they were using the term terrorism differently than we had ever used it before. And so they were just weaponizing this term so that they felt justified in what they were doing. But that wasn't, when you say like, oh, well, there's precedence for this. Not really. Even with the drone bombing, like Obama had put into place all sorts of regulations to stop drone bombings like this before he left office. And Donald Trump got rid of it. And people all remember that Obama set the records for drone bombings. And they mention this all the time. Donald Trump beat that record in the first 2 years of his first term. He beat Obama's record for 8 fucking years in the first 2 years of his first term. But nobody hears about that. Like nobody hears about the fact that he did this. But while I want to agree with like the fact that this is a nebulous term to an extent, and that there is some subjectivity within the term of terrorism, it is not that subjective where like when we're talking about what is political, or you're trying to use some sort of like political motivation to instill fear through violence, that like what is political, while it is subjective, we're not going to call like somebody buying a fucking toy car at Toys R Us political. Like there, I think we can all draw some pretty reasonable lines here. And I think the people just selling drugs and wanting to get into positions of power so that they can more easily sell those drugs would not be considered political motivations. It would be considered like they want money. The motivations are money.
And listen,
So
I
can
wasn't.
respond to
I
that?
was. Yeah, go ahead, Lactoid. I'll go
So-
after you.
Sure. So to be clear, I agree that there needs to be a line set, and I'm not. I would be very hesitant to call like a drug dealer. I wouldn't call that person like a real political actor, or even like even a gang to some like just even a relatively large gang to some extent. The reason why I use the Haitian gangs and specifically the Mexican cartels is because I think that these organizations, on my review, have surpassed whatever origins they've had of just being like a small, like or even large, like money making venture, and they've become these sort of pseudo government entities. When the cartel runs an area, runs parts of areas of Mexico, it is more powerful than the government in multiple places. It runs local utilities. It relies on the goodwill of like the populace, and it has to react accordingly, right? The cartel is careful, like when a little bit sometimes when it comes to like high profile killings, because they don't want to piss off the population that they rule over. They have become these sort of pseudo government entities, and they act as such, right? They are interested not just in money, but they often utilize the money that they get from selling drugs, just like the Taliban did, by the way, when they sold opium. The Taliban was one of the biggest cartels on the planet with how many drugs they sold. But the Mexican cartels do very similar things, right? They get the money coming in and they try to use it to establish political control over the areas in which they govern. I think that in Haiti, the gangs running that country, it's similar. It's a similar situation where the gangs have surpassed the power of the central government, and now there's no real elected government there to speak of. I think the prime minister is still there, but he has to negotiate with the gangs before he can do anything, and he really can't do much. I mean, it's a really tough situation there, and that place is governed by local gangs that have essentially taken over and will launch attacks against each other and the civilian population whenever they don't get their way. So I just but when that happens, when we look at the mass killings that happen in Haiti or in Mexico, and we don't see that, we don't call that terrorism in the same way, because I do think that just the way the vernacular is used is we just tend to refer to it as like the Middle East, which is also sort of why we call it narco terrorism. We have to put the modifier narco on there, otherwise it doesn't make sense, I think, to Americans, right? Like these people coming up from Venezuela are terrorists. Hey, you can say that. I think a lot of people it's not going to resonate. They're not really going to fully understand. But if you put narco there,
you can't be a terrorist unless you're Middle Eastern, right?
Sort of. I mean, it's not truly the way the word's supposed to be used.
I know, but
I
in the
think
American
in the American sense,
psychology.
it's the way it is, right? And so, but if you put narco there, it's like, well, narco drugs, that's from that area. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I think, and so we look at Libya and Iraq, which Saddam Hussein, for whatever you say about him, I don't think. I mean, maybe you could call him like a government terrorist, I suppose, but normally terrorism is used to refer to non-government actors. But that was just a toppling of a dictator, right? That's what. But that is really like what we talk about when we're putting this into the global war on terror, despite the fact that was overthrowing a dictator. So, but he's Middle Eastern, right? He's in that area.
Well, but that's why it was
that's
like
my opinion on
Iran.
it.
We call them like a state funding of terrorism, right? It's because we wouldn't call like Iranian leaders terrorists in and of themselves, but we would say that they fund terrorism because they're funding terrorist
I think we do.
groups.
Yeah, I think the American state terrorists, but like I know what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying, Tom. But like, yeah.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like, one thing that we really need to kind of touch on, though, and we haven't really talked about it enough, is like we talked about like the whole extrajudicial process, is because like our country actually has a track record of not just like killing people because we suspect them being terrorists. We also have a tendency to like take them under false pretenses and like mistaken identity, basically, and put them in places like Guantanamo for years on end. Like, there's a few cases. I'm not going to read every single one of them because we'll be bored for days. But there are people that were mistakenly arrested and without any real due process whatsoever, and they were expedited to Guantanamo Bay, where some of them were waterboarded, some of them were tortured, which is against the Geneva Conventions, actually, to conduct these acts, essentially. But they were held for years on end without trial, without charge whatsoever.
They are being held for years, not were, right? Like there's still people in getting
some still are. Some still
Yeah.
are. It's not as a lot of them actually have.
Most of
been,
them are gone. But
Most of them have been sent back to their countries of origin. But the thing is, it's like a total of like 780 people were held at Guantanamo, and nearly all were detained without criminal charges or trials. Now, 86% were captured by the Pakistan or the Afghan forces, and whatnot, and then they were sent over to our country. Now, not to our country, but to Guantanamo Bay, essentially. This is the problem that we're actually running into, because if that was to happen to any one of us, right, like we would be fucking losing our shit over it. Like I brought it up earlier today about the guy Andrew Tamarisi, the guy that managed to get himself stuck in Mexico because he had fucking guns in the back of his car, loaded guns, for mind you, and they kept him in prison. People were talking about sending the fucking special forces down there to get those guys because they were that outraged by it. The thing is, like, we did this to people and held them without trial, without charge for years. This is a problem right here. And like people saying, oh, well, it happens, shit happens. Like, well, no, shit doesn't happen. This goes to show that there was a lack of oversight to make sure that we were actually getting the right bad guys. But all we did was like, we actually probably, some of these guys probably just went home and carried on with their lives, but some of these guys probably went back and was like, dude, these guys beat the shit out of me. We probably created more terrorists alone, just based on the loan. And honestly, and I'm not saying I justify it, I'm simply saying I get it. I get it. Like, I wouldn't want to fucking support this country. I sure as hell wouldn't. It's like, dude, these guys really treating me like shit. I mean, dude, they waterboarded me, and they pushed my shit
It's just
in.
enhanced interrogation.
So what you're saying is
It's
that
torture.
America deserved 9/11.
I didn't say that at all. That's not what I said at all.
That's what
Actually,
I think that's what you're saying.
that's not what I said at all, though. Of course.
But okay, so let's try to. I think there's still a lot more to be said on the global war on terror, and we can continue on with that thread.
Sure.
But like a part of the question that I posed to you guys was like, America's 250 years old. Is this country worth celebrating in its current state? Right.
Oh yeah.
Looking at what America has done around the world, right? And the global war on terrorism, as far as like the world is concerned, right? The global war on terrorism is like one of the big things, right? Like that's what they've been experiencing, right? We've inflicted this upon the world. Is this something worth celebrating? This nation? Well, what are your feelings in general about it? And then I guess we can narrow it down.
Well, the way that it's framed in the prompt, in terms of like that benevolent shining city on a hill, I don't think we should, as in my mind, you're falling very much short of that. But then again, that might be an unrealistic expectation for a country. But I don't view America that way, and I think, well, I don't view it as in, if that is the metric, then I don't think there is cause for celebration. But let's say, on average, do I have positive feelings, and are there good reasons to celebrate America? As a Canadian, I think the answer is yes.
As an American, we don't care about Canadians' opinions. I'm sorry.
And you don't care about lactoid.
Indeed.
I don't
Which
make
is
the
fair.
rules.
Yeah.
I don't make the
I think
rules.
you shouldn't care about lactoid.
I think we rock. I think we're a city. I think we're a shining city.
Okay.
Based off of what metric?
Everything.
Everything.
Do I need to?
Okay.
Do I need to point to one specific?
So the
thing?
greatest
Taxes.
prison population. That's
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, we-
Taxes
we
are
don't
what
need
makes
to.
it
Yeah.
so base.
You're right. Yes, we
I
punish
agree. I
our
think
prisoners.
like-
True. Base.
true. Yeah. So you're in favor of
Oh,
the war on
no.
drugs. The war on drugs. That we should have a memorial for that.
Hold on.
That was a bad-
Say it.
look,
Say it. Our
The,
taxes.
the best
Say it.
country. The best country.
How
can
much
have
we
a
spend on
fuck-ups.
Social Security? How much we
Yeah,
spend
okay.
on Medicare?
Stop. Okay. Fair enough. Let me reiterate.
You're number one for
Compared
life
to
expectancy,
compared
life
compared
expectancy,
compared
and,
to
and healthcare
compared compared to burn a candle that burns twice as hot or whatever.
costs. Yeah, you're really
half
nailing
as
that
long.
expression.
So I think you can point to negative things, but overall we're pretty fucking awesome. Historically, I think we've demonstrated an ability to hold firm to principles, and when we haven't, especially early on, to evolve and change and to fix those problems. I think yes. I'll say this:
So when
If
Alex
any
brought up
other-
those lessons
if
from
any
the
other
Vietnam
nation-
War, those
Yeah.
were learned.
if any other nation, I think, had the power that we have, they wouldn't be wielding it nearly as benevolently. I think that.
I mean, in I don't know, 20, 30, 50
I-
years, China
so-
might be having that power. But we'll
Yeah,
I
see.
agree.
China
Yeah, and I
doesn't
think
rule
if China had
nearly as
that-
fucking nicely.
Yeah, and I think if China had that, it would suck.
Let's
I
look
think
at.
the
Let's
world
go
would
over
be
to
a much worse
Taiwan
place.
and ask them how they're doing.
Well, here's the thing. Like,
I don't think
listen,
Taiwan is like
They're not bombed.
I-
They're
it's
not
not an
bombed.
abject
That's what they
poverty
are.
or like.
Well,
what-
Yeah, they're
what-
not
hold on,
bombed. They're
hold
actually
on,
doing
hold on,
pretty well.
hold on, hold on. In terms of abject poverty, it's not even fucking close. Okay, China has way more people deeply impoverished. There's something
No,
called
no, it's not
That's not what I'm
Taiwan.
saying.
You said Taiwan.
You said Taiwan. You said ask. Let's pull Taiwan.
That's
That's the
Taiwan.
Yes.
Taiwanese.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
because
still
they're
bet-
yeah,
I would
yes,
still
yes,
bet they're way
because
more
they're
impoverished
living
than we are.
because they're
Because
living
there's a
because they're
conflict.
living in the shadow of potentially getting invaded by China at any minute.
Let's ask Cuba
But they,
how they
yeah,
like.
exactly.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Here-
Yeah, yeah.
trying
Look,
to
Taiwan,
annex
your average
Cuba.
Taiwanese person lives much better than your average Chinese person. Their government is substantially better. And then you look at Cuba, and yeah, like what
With the major
consistently
sanctions?
rated one of the most unfree
Yeah.
countries on the planet.
Yeah, also with major sanctions against them.
We
right?
wait,
Like,
hold
that
on.
had
Everyone
been-
here is
Here's the
against
thing,
the
and
sanctions.
and
then
then trying to assassinate
Sanctions,
the-
not
the-
everyone.
the
Hold on,
leaders
hold
of-
on.
I'm,
It
I'm
feels
against
so
the sanctions,
fucking-
but
exactly.
these sanctions didn't just drop out of the fucking sky.
It feels really weird.
Well,
when you
yeah,
talk-
yeah, I know. America imposed
Yeah.
them. Yeah, they didn't drop
Right.
out. of the
So
sky.
why, though?
Yes.
America did it
A
And
little bit
Because of a
why.
totalitarian one-party state
We did-
that took
we
over that
didn't
country.
Hold on, come on, Lactoid, please. Lactoid, please. I know you know better than this. Please don't do
Oh,
this,
boy.
right? They didn't do this because of freedom. Oh yes, we wanted the Cuban people to be free. We had our own viceroy in Cuba, right? It was overthrown, right? They're no longer part of our imperial.
We
umbrella.
abandoned.
That's
Yes,
why
we
did it.
abandoned
We
him.
didn't
Hold
care
on, hold
about
on.
them. Come
No,
on.
hold on. We hold on. We abandoned Batista because he was doing a bunch of fuck shit, and quite literally, we abandoned him because of his poor human rights record. That's why the U.S. government stopped supporting him when the Cuban revolutionaries started, making serious ground. We pulled back that aid because of Batista's record, which I think is
Because-
interesting.
hold on.
That we are willing to sacrifice.
When the revolutionaries started making serious ground.
Yes, when Batista's fighting with the revolutionaries, we initially were supporting Batista, right?
Yeah,
We pulled-
That's
we
my,
pu- we
my-
pulled-
That's my
yes.
understanding.
Yes, we pulled that
So-
aid because Batista was going around to different villages and shooting them up.
But hold on, it was bad. There was bad before the revolution, though. During the actual oppression of Batista, we were fine with that, right? Like, so we could say, like, afterwards, right, when it seemed like, oh, maybe the winds are blowing differently. Yes, we pulled down support, but that doesn't mean that, like, we are now innocent of what we were doing previously. We
I'm not
understand
saying that.
this, right?
I'm not.
Okay,
No, no, I'm
great.
not saying we're.
So we
I'm not saying we're innocent of what we're doing previously. What I'm
So
saying
then
is
I'm
that
saying that it,
when the revolution started occurring and Batista started ramping this up significantly, it was like way more human rights abuses in that period
we
of
don't
time,
care
and the
about-
pressure of that caused us to pull our
We don't
aid for
care.
Batista.
We do not care.
Then why did we pull our
about
aid?
Liberal,
Then
we
why did
do
we pull
not
the
care
aid?
about liberal democracies. We've had this conversation before. You
Why did we pull
agree
the
with
aid?
This, right? We
I don't-
don't
no,
care
I don't fully
about
agree with
any of
this.
that. That is of no consequence to us, right? It wasn't.
And why
simply
did we
because
pull
of-
the aid? Answer that
Why
question.
not? Yeah, why not keep Batista there? If we don't give a fuck at all, why not keep Batista and then fund the shit out of him? Because we
So-
pulled all our aid.
Why not? I don't say. I'm gonna answer this question right in the best
Mm-hmm.
way I can. I don't know exactly why we pulled our aid. I can't give you that question, but I can tell you why we didn't do it. We didn't do it because we gave a fuck about the
Incredible.
human rights records. Like,
Incredible.
we-
He doesn't
like,
know
we-
enough about history to make those claims, but he does know that it doesn't fit his narrative. That's what he does know.
Hold on. Nice try.
Mm.
Yeah, hold on. Like, nice try because we can see this throughout the history, throughout the world.
Hold
right?
on.
And also, in
This
Cuba.
is so-
we
I
don't
hate this.
care about liberal these places being
You
liberal
do this-
democracies. Let's stop pretending otherwise.
Okay,
right?
here's something. Here's something that
we
really
do
bothers
kinda
me.
care.
Hold on.
We
Here's
do
something
care.
that bothers me
No,
about
we
both
don't.
sides of the
We
conversation.
say it.
Okay. I think this is a term called reification, where basically you take this like abstract concept and you turn it into this like concrete idea. America is full of fucking a whole bunch of different people over history. And like
So,
when
we
you
can
say
hear you typing,
we don't
Alex.
care
We
about
can
liberal
hear you.
democracy,
Alex,
you
you can hear you typing. Just so you know, you can hear you typing.
Or
Alex.
someone's typing, but I don't know.
It was Alex, but yeah,
my hands
yeah.
are shown.
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. It was
What
just
about your
Alex.
feet, Hunter?
Wah!
Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, Hunter. But please,
You're
go
good.
ahead.
You're good. I feel really frustrated when we have these conversations about America and we paint with a broad brush over 250 years. We have a really complicated history, and there are a lot of fucking genocides that have happened on our watch. You know, we fucking, the Trail of Tears, Andrew Jackson, whatever. I can point to 1,000 different times as to which as to times that I feel ashamed looking back on. But this idea that like we don't care about liberal democracy, therefore we wouldn't have done that because look at other times when we didn't care. But who did those, right? Like what was that America? Does Andrew Jackson get to speak for me for what America is? I don't think so. I don't think so. And
Yeah, the amazing president that Joe Biden was, that Donald Trump does not ruin Joe Biden's reputation. But these are
Based.
very different Americas.
So but I do gotta step in though because like the thing is like we're missing is just like there is no metric where we are kicking ass across the board. Like 53% of our population has a 6th grade reading level, and Lactoid, you already heard me say this, but I'm gonna say it again.
Compared to other nations, we're doing okay.
No, we're not doing okay. Okay, I'm sorry, but
I'm not
like,
saying great.
we're-
I'm not saying great, but
we're-
I did look at I did look at data recently where we compared against
Okay,
6 other developed
But
nations.
you gotta let
and
me
we were
finish though.
third.
If there's one thing I don't like, I let y'all speak, so just give me a second, okay? The
Okay.
thing is, like,
Yeah,
we
shut
spend
up, Hunter. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'm not
fine.
saying
We're
shut
all
up. But, like,
interrupting
the thing
each
is,
other
it's
too,
like,
though.
okay, fine. But anyway, as I was saying, it's just like regarding healthcare, we spend more in healthcare than any other developed nation across the world. Yeah, we have the worst outcome, the highest infant mortality rate. We have the highest maternity mortality rate. We don't have paid guaranteed family leave. We don't have some form of like income to make sure like with the average income or like the minimum wage for people is like $750, which $685 was pretty stellar when I graduated high school. The thing is, like, what category are we exactly kicking ass across the board? Freedom? There's countries all across the developed world, especially first world nations, that have as just much
Okay.
freedom as we do.
We've all
but yet
seen
people are.
the newsroom pilot. Okay,
Well,
I get it.
but
Yeah,
but that's I'm talking about the newsroom pilot. But the thing is, like, but that's not what I'm talking about though. But the fact of the matter is just like, what metric are we so fucking star spangled awesome at?
I
Exactly.
I
give
can
you-
go.
You're
I can
literally
go through
doing
some.
the newsroom pilot.
Yeah.
You're literally
So
But-
I'll give you some numbers. We're number 1 in disposable income per person. That's pretty fucking good. We got the most money. We're you say it's negative that we have the way our healthcare system works. I think there could be improvements, but I think it's generally good. That
Wait, hold on.
I think it's.
So, hold on.
I'm not expecting any agreement from the
but-
entire panel on this. To be clear, but I think it's generally good that the use of services is paid for disproportionately by the people who use it. I think that is good.
Do you get the best? Do you have
Um,
the highest life expectancy of all?
Before we
If
go,
you- no, because we are fat because we have so much fucking money and access to food. It's a fucking glorious
And
fucking
you have,
McDonald's
you have
over
no
here.
choice but to buy
Freedom,
that food and
baby.
shovel it in your mouth,
Yeah.
right, Lactoid?
So-
So sad. I'm gonna
Hey,
fucking die
so-
3 years
One of the
earlier.
other things that
When I get fucking unfiltered Lucky Strike.
Like,
What
Can
do
I-
you guys probably get for like
I'd like to give my
$35 a
answers.
pack?
I'd like to give my answers for what America is really good at.
I
So
wanna-
I want to give
I
some.
wanna- I wanna-
Hold on. I want to give some
wanna-
clarifications. I'm gonna go first. Sorry. Some clarifications. First off, the mortality rate, the maternal mortality rate is flipped. You're looking at it backwards. We're actually very, very low in terms of mortality rate, but you want your mortality rate to be low, so we're actually high in it. The healthcare, we have a tremendous amount of innovations now. I want to reform healthcare too. I'm in favor of single payer. I'm in favor of
Number
public
one
option of
innovating.
yes, in terms of innovations, we are fantastic. But the
Number
best
one.
thing that we're number one in America about is that we're America, okay? And that's what being America
What
is
an
about.
argument.
No,
I-
is
First
you
Amendment-
fucking-
I expect
First
better
Amendment,
from you, Hunter.
Second Amendment, I can go. I have an AK-47. Do you guys have an AK? No, you can't fucking get one.
Well, I gave you
cares?
this
The
challenge.
AK-47
wait, I
not
gave
a
you,
good
I
rifle.
gave you, I
We are
gave
the
you
most-
the challenge.
It's the most
Lactoid.
mass-produced rifle
I-
for a reason because it's
I
fucking
gave
cheaply
you
made.
the challenge years ago.
So?
Can you open a Kinder Surprise on stream right now?
Okay, fuck.
Okay,
All right.
sorry.
This is your one. This is a good
Hold on.
point.
Well,
This is your one good point.
No,
Yeah,
I'll keep
was-
going.
that
I
was
will
good.
keep
We have-
going. I will keep going.
we
I'll
have
keep
the
going.
most
Can
amount-
you- I will keep going. I will
Lawn
keep going.
darts. Lawn darts. Fuck.
Can you in every single state smoke cannabis?
No,
Uh,
but our
Okay,
freedom of
so- but
speech
you
is
have all the
unparalleled.
freedom,
Our
right?
freedom of speech is unparalleled. We have
I
the
agree.
number.
I agree on paper. How that actually
Not on
trans- I don't know
paper.
that
Not even
meaningfully.
close. Not even close.
Practice.
I said on
In
paper.
practice.
I don't.
I wanna. Okay,
I don't
okay,
know
okay,
what-
okay, hold on. Sorry. I don't want to do this fight.
Wrong.
The Kinder Egg.
Freedom
fucks
of
me up.
speech.
I don't
speeches.
want to do the fight right now. I don't want to do this fight right now. Okay.
And the
Alright,
lawn darts.
I want to go back to what we were saying previously. So I'm gonna give some leeway to our friend Hunter here.
Surprise.
Oh, sorry. So aren't you studying, or why? You don't have to listen to this part, Hunter. Right? You can go back to studying. I'll say my piece, but you don't have to listen to this
I'm
part.
probably gonna go.
Um,
sit
I got to
and
respond
study,
after
but-
this. I got to respond to something Alex said. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I was going to say is that like I don't have a firm grasp on the Cuban Revolution history, right? It hasn't been a particular area of focus of mine, right? So I'll say that, and I will agree with you. Your reification narrative, right? When you're basically you're saying like, yes, you can establish a pattern, right? And that pattern might be true, but for any particular incident, unless you have like insight into that incident, you can't just say it necessarily matches that pattern.
Mhm.
That's fair, right? I still think I'm pretty damn sure it does match my pattern, but I actually don't have enough information to like confidently say that. So I'm going to give that to you,
That's
right?
fair.
However, like that doesn't mean there isn't any through lines within our history, and which is what the thing I'm going to push back against you. You like you're saying like, well, we do have a long history. Well, not extremely long compared to other countries, but still, right? A relatively long history. And within that history, there are many actors, right? There are many different political situations, political moments, and incentives, right?
Mhm.
That may or may not even translate to our political stances today. And so we have to keep that in mind when looking back in history. I think that's a very important point, and I'm gonna give you that as well. However, the a clear through line is imperialism. Imperialism is an absolute through line throughout American history, right? Like starting with the taking of the colonies through the push west, right? This is all imperialist acts. And when America established, then our relations with Mexico, right? Pushing down into their imperialist acts. The idea of the Western Hemisphere being the American hemisphere, right? And our Canadian friends being forced to be a part of that, and then everyone south of the border, right? Imperialist act. Our adventures within Asia, right? Taking what we did to the Philippines, imperialist act. And then Vietnam and all that. All this is imperialism. Up to the Middle East, right? Imperialism,
Canada's still
imperialism.
colonized.
Sorry,
Canada's still colonized.
the way it should be, yeah. Like yes, imperialism. I mean, imperialism can be good sometimes, right? But like yeah, imperialism.
Spoken like
all
a
the way
true
through.
leftist.
Yeah.
True.
But yeah,
True.
As long as it's my imperialism, then it's okay.
Exactly.
as long as it's
Exactly.
mine, yeah. So, but that's imperialism is the through line of America, and that's when I'm looking back through our history. That's what I'm looking for, right? I would also say like imperialism, like oftentimes, almost always, matches white supremacy, but I don't know. That might be too much of an advanced subject for this crowd here.
Yeah, it's
But,
confusing
uh,
sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's too complex, and you have trouble with that. So any which
We
way,
need to have more tapes for that conversation.
yeah. but yeah, that's absolutely something that you can point to. You can point to view Americans' actions. Yeah, it's imperialism. I'll leave it there. People can jump in.
I think
Well,
that's
I think
wait, hold on.
I
that was
do
in
agree
response
with
to
like
me.
what.
Can
Well,
I go real quick?
I haven't
I'm
even.
gonna go real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was a response. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go real quick though. I'm just gonna say
You're good.
that's a valid lens to look through. I'm not gonna deny the vast amount of imperialism and white supremacy that has been at the core of the American frontier. But I do think that sometimes we glue our glasses to our face, and there are other glasses that we can view America through that are maybe equally as valid. I'm gonna say that. Yeah. But yeah,
Right.
that's about it.
But they could all. But I can give you that. I can give you that. But I can also say there can be multiple things, right? There can be multiple prisms, right? And they can all be about. So like you can. I'm sure the Hunter. You could maybe give me something else, another lens to look at, and I could agree. Oh yeah, this like is a good way of like processing most of American history, right? In our actions, especially talking about our foreign policy, you might be able to generate that. That doesn't mean the imperialism lens is incorrect, right? It could be multiple things, multiple incentives being used. Yeah,
Yeah, but
right?
in some cases, whatever. I don't have anything off the top of my head. It's explicitly not imperialist. In some cases, we're anti-imperialist. In some cases, we're, and like
Were
we
we ever
in order to look
anti-imperialist?
through the it just feels so weird.
When
to have
when are
one
we
lens.
anti-imperialist? When
I
give me
don't
an
know.
example?
Like
take your time. You can like put some
No,
thought
like,
onto it. I'm not trying to like
whatever,
gotcha
whatever.
you.
Biden
Ukraine.
pulling us from Afghanistan, like, was that imperialist
Russia,
or
Ukraine.
anti-imperialist?
Pulling America out of an imperialist
Yes.
action is
Hold on.
anti-imperialist.
Was Biden?
No, that's not anti-imperialism, right? That's
Russia,
not
no,
Ukraine.
that was
that's
more like
like
Russia,
ending
Ukraine.
imperialist action.
We're
That
funding
doesn't
you
mean
lost
it's
the
Russia.
imperialism,
funding
as in
Ukraine.
that was a lack of successful imperialism.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
No, Tom's
Like, we
right.
failed miserably.
We're
I'm sorry,
funding
Tom.
Ukraine.
It's U.S.
We're
imperialism.
funding Ukraine. That is the
yeah, no, 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 no.
anti-imperial action.
No, wait a minute.
Oh
Hold on.
no,
Lactoid,
that's the
you
pro
can't
you
agree
imperial.
with this. Yeah,
You no
dude,
longer agree
Lactoid,
with
you
Tom,
can't
right,
agree with
Lactoid?
this.
Or not? You still
Lactoid.
endorse?
No,
it?
I thought he was saying that you like us funding them was the pro-American like imperialist action, which is
Yeah.
I would say so. Yeah.
That would be
No.
true.
We're
right?
adding to
Tom,
our little EU
guys-
like puppet
yeah,
state.
Tom,
Yeah,
these
empires.
these guys are idiots. You kind of just have to ignore them
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's
Oh.
absolutely fucking retarded. Okay,
No,
but
no,
I was
no.
gonna say the I think that like when I think of what America stands for and like what it is that why I would say that we're good or I would celebrate us is because of liberalism. I think that we have been like when it comes to being a shining beacon, I would say that liberalism is the thing that we've kind of shown works, that democracy is something that is good, that it's capable, it's not only
Can
a
you define liberalism
a
for
thing
me?
that-
I don't mean I'm not trying to like gotcha. I'm just trying to make sure I'm on the same page with what you're describing.
yeah, like enlightenment values like
John Locke.
yeah,
Magna Carta.
democracy, free speech.
I mean, like, if you
Okay.
like
Yeah.
a
I just
really,
want to understand. That's
it's
okay.
kind of famous. It's kind of famous. Like, a lot of people forget this, but democracy used to be a dirty word. Plato originally said this is the worst form of government because anyone can be in charge. That's obviously going to lead to
Mhm.
ruin. And it took
yes,
2,000 years, not 2,000 years, it took 1,500 years for us to go, actually, wait, hold on, maybe this can actually function. And it just takes a shit ton of work, and it takes a lot of dedication to make sure that everyone is involved in the process. What? No, it requires a lot of upkeep.
Yeah, no, but I don't. The way that you frame that, Plato described democracy. I don't know that fully true, but I take your point. Like,
No,
your
that's
broad
pretty
point.
true. He said
Mm,
yeah,
you
he
didn't
put
characterize it like
tyranny.
the worst.
He put tyranny over democracy.
When you say over democracy, what do you mean by over?
He ranked them all, and he said the best one is with like intellectuals in charge. I forget what the name of it is.
Philosopher
King,
Kings.
right?
it's
Yeah.
technocracy.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So that I would say that like liberalism is the thing that makes the United States great, and that has been like the thing that we've been able to export to other countries. And sometimes it's through imperialism. Sometimes it's through what they call neo-imperialism, where we use like
Soft power.
all of the money that we have in order to kind of influence other countries into heading in our direction, and then we work with them because we were able to become a superpower. We use our superpower position to influence other countries into better conditions for their people, and I think that this is like in that scenario, I think that we have overall been a net good for the world.
Based as fuck.
Well,
We
so
know
I-
you
what were
disagree,
asking me?
Prime. It's okay.
I agree with it.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Lactoid.
I got a message for you. Quote: This is from Jeb Tan. AK-47 not being a good rifle is such a fake gun guy take. It's like saying the Toyota Corolla is a bad car.
Isn't
I knew
Toyota
that
a Japanese
that's
brand?
what we're gonna go back to.
I can think of a few rifles that are better than AK-47. It's the most mass-produced rifle in the
Because
world
of
for
the
a reason.
demand, right?
Because it works.
Because of demand.
No.
Have you ever heard of
because
Jevons
it's-
paradox?
The Toyota Corolla is
It's
oh, like,
reliable.
it's nothing.
just
Yeah, nobody.
reliable. Yeah, that's why. My
So
understanding
it's
was-
yeah, it's the Toyota Corolla. I think that's a great comparison.
yeah.
It
It's
is.
the
but
it's the Nokia of guns.
Yeah, but nobody
Yeah,
has
that-
Nokias anymore, though. So
I don't know about
Yeah,
Corolla.
nobody has a
Corolla
Nokia
as well.
anymore. So
AK-47s are
here's-
also kind of
like,
falling
here-
off.
Well, here's the thing. Like, what it comes down to, like, listen, I'm very, very critical of my country. That's just because I want it to get better. Now, if you want to address the issue of, like, the poverty level in this country, yes, I'm willing to address that. But the thing is, though, is that we're never going to do that because we can't get out of our own fucking way. I mean, for crying out loud. Like, I could also say, like, one thing that makes our country great is because I don't consider us a melting pot, because a melting pot, you really can't recognize the diversity. But the thing is, I consider us like a salad bowl, right? Because we recognize and appreciate that we are a very
Hell yeah.
different, we're just a different conglomeration of people of different religions, races, different cultures and customs and whatnot. But the thing is, though, is that there are people in this country that are scared of every fucking thing. I mean, why else do you think there's so many people who's like, oh my God, Sharia law? 1.3% of the population is Muslim, and everyone's freaking out about a fucking takeover. I mean, the thing is, this country, like, I love my country, but we are filled with idiots that are scared of their own fucking shadow, for crying out loud. These guys, like, the second you hear somebody speaking Spanish, they start flipping the fuck out. I was like, hey, speak English in this country. How dare you?
Low-key,
It's like, it's crazy.
I agree, and I also vehemently disagree. Like that's so fucking true about so many people. But like, all in all, compared to other countries, what I've seen, the very little that I've seen, we're pretty damn tolerant. Like, I constantly see people speaking Spanish, and I have never seen anyone shout
You've
out.
never punched one of them. Yeah,
It's true. I've never seen anyone go
You've
aggressive
been
on someone.
restrained
The
each
worst that
time
I've seen is
he's
my
held back.
You know, sometimes my mom will make a little bit of like a. Ugh. I'm like, shut up. You know, and that's about the
great.
worst
And
it
then-
gets.
and
And
then
I
you hit her.
agree. I agree that like we're obnoxious, and I agree that there's terrible, awful racists. I'm not saying that because I haven't seen them, they don't exist. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I know that they do, and I see them online every day. But like sometimes there's a
Every
little
day.
bit.
so
Yeah.
both
Yeah,
these
well-
things can exist at once, right? So like, one, I think I actually agree with you in terms of our ability to take people in and integrate them, right? Like I'm not sure if there's a better country, right? There might be, I don't know, but
Hell yeah.
but as far as I can tell, there's no better country than that, right? But at the same time, we terrorize those people, right? That mechanism, we call that ICE today, right? Like we have through state power have been going after those exact same those communities that like speak Spanish, right? Well, we created a hotline, right, where you can report suspected
There goes the
undocumented
we
immigrants.
again.
And
It's like
we
Trump
being
does
America-
one
hold on,
fucking
we being
thing.
America. Hold on, we being America. You understand how amusing we? You get
royal we.
No, I get it, but
no.
no. I get it, but I'm
I
saying.
mean, I think every country is immigration control, to be fair.
But
sorry,
I think of when I think of Trump, I think of him as being anti-America. Like,
Yes!
you're a leftist.
Yes!
No,
I-
him as being
and
the
I don't.
culmination of America.
Yes.
I think of him as being antithetical to everything that is
Yes,
America.
exactly.
I disagree. Now
I
I
know.
I'm farther away from Trump than
'cause you're Haitian.
pretty much anybody here, right?
That's
in
not how
terms of
that works.
I'm Canadian.
It's
Yeah.
so obnoxious. I'm more left,
Fine.
actually. I support Stalin, so I'm actually more left than you. I hate Trump even more.
You guys,
Okay.
you
Oh my
guys
God.
actually think
Oh
that
my
like
God.
hating
Oh my
Trump
God.
is like
Oh
the
my
best
God.
thing about America.
Oh my God! No,
It's a pretty good damn
Look,
part of
most
America.
No, hold on.
It is-
Hold on.
It's like
But I
it's
think
like-
no,
Makes me
hold
feel pretty
on.
fucking
Apple
good.
pie.
I think
Oh, my fucking
Trump
God.
is quintessentially American. That's the thing. That's
Uh,
unfortunately this is real.
Well, I
He's
think he embodies the
quintessentially
worst parts
American, right?
of American.
Yes.
Yes,
like-
exactly. Right.
That's fine. No, but that's where. Come on. You. Okay.
America
Yeah, no,
continues to like progress though. We evolve and we have realized our values and our constitution more and more over time. We have realized those liberal values over time. Of course, early on we had slaves and we were doing horrible things to the indigenous people, but we have realized those values more
today
and
we
more.
are
And
funding
Donald Trump
genocide and ethnic cleansing.
and Donald
Right?
Trump is the
Hold on.
exact opposite of what it is.
Exact
I'm gonna talk
opposite.
about the genocide. That Donald
The-
Trump is going backwards,
Oh.
and he is the opposite
Yeah.
of that evolution. He is pulling us. He is
And Joe
purposely
Biden was
wanting to
and
go.
Joe Biden.
No,
was
no,
the
wait.
opposite of
You're right. We
Joe
got to go back to
Biden
our.
was-
We got to go
Joe
back
Biden
to our
was the most
roots.
progressive president we've
Yeah.
ever had. And
Yeah,
the
who
best
funded the
president of my
genocide, like-
entire
Yeah,
life.
wait, no.
That's
We got to go back to our roots. We got to go away from Trump. We got to
Yeah.
go back to our roots of the base level American shit, like gun restrictions and more abortions.
Under
and
Reagan,
putting
who are we
act-
talking
oh,
about?
Putting activists on the Supreme Court. Yeah, hell yeah.
Is that
that's-
Reagan?
that's
I
Hold on,
can't. I
yeah.
can't tell
Fucking
who you're
Trump.
talking
Like I
about.
said,
Evil Trump getting
is
away from us.
Essentially American. And to pretend otherwise. And
I don't
would
want to
say-
fucking hear about an
and-
activist on the
and
Supreme
I would
Court
say that and
under
Uh,
Thomas.
And at the same time, I would say
First of all,
that
Trump
Joe
didn't put
Biden
Thomas on, but he's
Nah,
is
better.
no, that's fair.
quintessentially American, right? Like I think we can. There's a case to be made that. Well, okay, I'm not gonna make this case because it's gonna confuse the conversation, and you guys are gonna go off on a tangent. So I'm gonna back off from that. But I'll just get these two men, right? These
I
two
wanna go
men,
off
yeah,
on a tangent.
quintessentially American. They can be
Two men, guy A and
repres-
guy B.
representing different parts, but parts that aren't that different. When it comes to imperialism, actually they're quite the same. Actually, they're very, very similar when it comes to imperialism. That part of America, right? Once again, is a very useful through line.
Because it comports
to
with your
American-
with
no,
your
because
ideology.
it actually is the case. Because he actually engaged in imperialism. That's why. Because he actually
the
did.
worst,
I can
but
actually point to the
nobody's
moments when
denying
you're
that. Though.
engaging in
Nobody's
imperialism,
denying that. Though.
right?
Nobody's
Yeah.
No,
denying
he
that.
is.
What we're saying
He
I'm
is.
not.
on
I'm
net-
not
is.
denying
No.
fucking.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not. We're talking about on net though. Earlier when we're talking about narrativizing these things, we're talking about like narrativizing is putting like a very simple lens on what it is that you're looking at instead of looking at big picture like on net value. And if we just look at like what's happening with Israel and Palestine, yes, that's horrible. But then there's like a billion other things that are good. And Donald Trump getting rid of like U.S. aid, which was considered what I guess what they call like neo-imperialism,
Which is
but
just
it's
another
like
word for
the,
based.
yeah, but it was fucking based. It was like kind of
Hell
bringing
yeah, it
everybody
was.
else into the fold and really helping out other countries. And
He also
there's
provided
so,
the-
and Donald
the-
Trump getting rid of that
Sorry.
is not so
I'm not going to know
quintessentially
true
American.
Scotsman Donald Trumpville, right? Like, yeah, he's
Why?
not really American.
No, no,
Why
no, no,
not?
no, 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 no.
Yeah, hold on. Because no, all the bad things, those are his stuff, right? That's just Donald Trump. Donald Trump separate off these corners. He's just the bad, these bad parts, right? But the good
Okay.
parts, those things are really American.
You know what?
right?
Wait,
No,
hold on. I'll
actually.
concede
So
a little
I have-
bit.
and I want to push back against my friend Lacto a little bit, right? Like because I have the opposite of Trump. Well, maybe not the opposite, but like I don't have Trump derangement syndrome here, right? This is an example of me showing that I am in terms of like how he fits within America, I embrace Trump, right? I don't reject him to saying he's some sort of
Clipped.
aberration, right?
Clipped.
You do that,
Clipped.
please do that because I don't say that he's some sort of aberration that gets ignored, right?
I know.
And then we can
He's not a
go back
tumor to
our
be cut out.
regularly
He's part
scheduled
of the American
program, right?
body.
Of sanctified
The tumors are still part of the
No,
body.
Well, sure,
Yes,
but you
yeah,
understand
yeah,
the analogy.
sure.
there.
And they're
know,
made up
Prime-
of our fucking DNA. Hold on. I think a tumor is a great example.
Strictly speaking, no.
No, I don't know how
No?
tumors
Okay,
work.
maybe- I
Yeah,
don't- maybe
you
maybe
want to go
it's
down
a
this
bad-
road?
No,
You
no, no.
doing
I
mutationists?
guess not. All right.
Yeah, Hunter, you're gonna get schooled on
Oh,
the DNA of
yeah,
tumors.
if it counts as a mutation, then I guess I won't. include it.
Yeah, so Prime, I know look, I don't think you have TDS. I don't.
I have
like
TDS.
You see, yes, you do.
I
think-
love it. I
I
love having
think
TDS.
I think
TDS.
Tom.
I
I
wanna
think Tom
hate
has
him more.
massive TDS.
I
think
literally
Hunter.
have shirts
think
on
you have a
my
little bit
store
less
that
of it.
say TDS
Um,
and proud.
I want to hate
yeah.
him more.
TDS
I-
and proud.
Have you seen
I
that clip
think
of
that-
James Carville? It's so fucking good. I watch it every
I
day.
actually think I don't know. I think all of you probably have TDS to some extent, except I don't think Prime does. I don't. I think Prime, his worldview.
I think you have TDS.
Trump.
But in this case,
Trump
you're just a
fits
Trump
No,
in.
please, I want to hear what he has to say.
Tr-
Go ahead.
I think for Prime, Trump fits like within the structure that you've constructed, and he fits like into an evil slot for you. But it's like it
Most
fits
of
like
the
it
presidents
fits.
do, to be fair.
Most of the presidents do. I understand, right? So I think in some way, if I was going to accuse you of anything, it would almost be like a UDS or like an ADS is what I accuse you of. An America derangement syndrome. Just it's like if it's American, like a little bit. That's what I.
But
But I don't.
honestly-
I would not accuse you of TDS.
I judge
I
people who don't have TDS though.
I
That's the
definitely-
distinction. This is a
No, okay,
negative
let
for
me
Prime.
let me explain what TDS is first. Like, and this is why it frustrates me so much. I don't care that you guys don't like Trump. It's just like it seems like hating him has become like a tribal brand that's like comparable to MAGA. And it's I don't know. It seems to go against
No,
the
not
whole anti-MAGA
comparable
thing.
to MAGA. No,
Well,
because
It is.
Donald Trump-
100%.
we're
I'll
looking
say
at
good
it-
things
the
about
problem is
Trump.
that
Consider
even if he
MAGA.
does something good, you don't want to give him credit for it because holistically, he is doing that good thing normally in furtherance of some like 10 other bad things. And so, yes, like it's normally not even beneficial to even acknowledge when, like with the Iran war, when people are like, yeah, but isn't he right about the fact that they have, they are enriching uranium? Yeah, sure. He's the one who gave him fucking permission to do that by
Yeah,
pulling
he
out of the
dissampled the
JCPOA. So I don't
exactly.
like even
Again,
when I can
I-
give him credit for something, I'm not going to because it's in furtherance
No,
of 10 other bullshit things.
Here, by the way, I'm not even. Again, you can disagree with anything or everything
Oh.
that Donald Trump has done.
Yeah,
That's not
'cause
what
we
I'm
live in
saying.
a fucking US
What I'm
baby.
saying. Of course,
world, too.
yes, best country in the
Hell
world.
yeah.
I never disagreed with that. So, but my point here is that like, as far as presidents go, I could point to 100 terrible things that Biden has done. I could point to really bad things that Biden has done. I could
I
point
challenge
to
you on that.
really bad things that George W. Bush has done. And if we compare like Trump to Bush, I think it's clear that Bush is worse than Donald Trump is. But it seems like the dislike of Trump has become a brand, and I mean that literally. Like you can sell it, right? If you throw in jabs on Trump here and there, like that sparks some dopamine release in someone's people's
Okay,
brain, right?
look,
If you like this has become a quintessential part of people's identity of just like, yes, I am this person. I like cats. I like eating bananas. And I hate Trump.
Okay,
And,
I
and,
don't.
and you take that away from them, I think that you'd probably cause an identity
Look,
crisis for
I
a lot of
don't
these fucking
necessarily disagree with what you're saying, but it really needs to be contextualized here. I'm going to say two things. Firstly, I actually agree with you. I think Bush was way more damaging than Trump, just on the virtue of the Iraq War. That shit was
and
fucking
Afghanistan
crazy.
and the prison
Yeah,
program.
I'm saying one thing is probably
Iran
enough to
war's not over
surpass
yet.
Trump's legacy. The reason I don't talk about Trump, the reason why no one would ever suspect me of hating Bush more than Trump, even though that's true, I talk about Trump way more because he's the fucking president of the United States right now. It kind of makes sense that he's part of the conversation. And
No,
hold on one
that's
sec.
fine.
Just one sec. He has also dominated the political subculture for 12 fucking years. Like ever since when did he start running? 2015. So it's been 11 years. It like every single fucking news article is about him. Every single thing that he does because he's the head of the Republican Party.
I didn't recall that during the Biden years.
Yes, because
So-
Biden was never even really
Are
the head
you
of the
crazy?
Democratic
Well,
Party.
Hold on. He was mentioned, but if you're saying that he was like the political identity, I heard way more about Biden when he was the president. About his,
I
you know,
disagree.
the-
I
the-
remember
the vaccine stuff, his mandates that he tried to push
Okay,
through.
Well,
maybe,
here's the
maybe,
thing.
the
maybe, but wait,
student
hold on.
loan forgiveness
Hold
that he
on.
tried to push through.
Even when
shot down a
Biden was
couple times.
president, Trump
The
would start.
immigration.
Hold on, Trump would just start tweeting shit like, "Hey, we got to be against this immigration bill," and all of the Republicans would just go, "Yes, yes, Daddy." He's not even fucking president. He's just some
Yeah.
dude in
There-
Mar-a-Lago, and everyone is signing
So,
along, and we're crazy for pointing out how
So
fucking
here's the
disgusting
thing,
this
like,
tumor is.
There's
I
a-
will definitely say without a doubt that George Bush was a terrible president without a doubt. But Donald Trump is the fucking worst without a doubt. He's the first president in the nation's history to have
I
never
would-
ever
that's a
conceded
fine
an actual
take.
election. No, what? No, he's the worst. He's the worst
I'm
president.
on-
Here's
January
why.
6th.
In January 6th,
Yes,
absolutely.
genuinely, that's a
He's
fair
the only president
conversation.
in history of the country that has never actually conceded an election that he actually lost fair and square. As a matter of fact, he's the only president we've ever actually seen that is actually truly weaponizing his Justice Department. He's actually told the FCC to cancel certain shows like Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert. He's the only president we've ever actually seen. And the thing is like he
And he's
actually
made the
is
most
wep-
money out of any
Yeah,
president.
made the
in
most
office,
money.
right?
What,
By
he promised.
exponentially.
Hold on,
No,
can
he
we talk?
Promised, he promised no more new wars
Lactoid.
and whatnot. He
Is it
talked
dis-
about like
Let's wait. Hold it. Let's hold his feet to the fire on these. Let's not just
Sure.
gallop him. Do you fucking condemn how disgusting it is that a president didn't concede an election? That he sowed distrust into the American populace, and now every single election is full of malice and distrust.
Well, hold on. Whoa.
Okay, what is it? Painting with a little too
That
broad?
that last tack on.
Fine,
I-
fine.
Yeah.
Strike
Sure,
through that
I'll-
last sentence.
I'll give my opinion. When Hillary Clinton lost, and there was a
Oh, here we
sizable
go.
portion of the Democrats who were saying that the election was rigged, I thought this was bullshit.
Hold on. Who?
This was not comparable to January 6th, to be fair.
great.
Okay.
Okay,
I thought it was
agree,
bullshit. But this culture of like denying an election, this was actually relatively prevalent amongst the Democrats prior to Trump pulling it.
Who? Wait, hold on.
Hillary
Who was
Trump-
doing that?
Al Gore
Hold up,
conceded, Kamala
hold
Harris
up,
conceded,
hold
they all
up, hold up,
conceded.
hold up.
Was it just people
I know,
online?
yeah. And then Hillary later on, said that it was rigged. And then when you had Trump, Hillary, just somebody online, right? The actual candidate saying later that it was rigged, just somebody online, of course. And then when you have, and the actual polling showing that like a significant chunk of Democrats thought this, of course. But when Trump pulled it, Democrats actually, the fact that Trump did January 6th actually sort of fixed this problem among Democrats. In 2024, like a record low number of Democrats thought that the election was rigged because of the association of rigging allegations with Donald Trump, which I think is kind of funny.
It's
Do I think that January 6th was bad? For sure.
I agree
I
with
said-
that to an extent.
I-
But
I-
it's
I
different when
said
you
it at
didn't
the
have
time.
a peaceful transition of power.
No, no,
Like,
no, no, wait. Hold on.
I
There's
said
a
I said it
huge-
I said it at the time that I thought January 6th was bad. But, and I've said this multiple times since then, I think that packing the court is fucking crazy.
Hold on.
And this
hold on.
is
Don't let him
amongst
fucking
the
weasel away from
mainstream.
this.
I'm not weaseling. I
Yes,
answered
you are,
it correctly.
because
I
you
answered it
have
correctly.
repeatedly downplayed Donald Trump's role in January 6th. You are frustrated
what
with
way?
the actors. Hold on, we had an entire debate about whether or not Donald Trump was responsible in January 6th. It was me v. you, and you were like, was he really? Really?
Hold on.
All
If
he
we're
did
talking
was
about the
have a
if we're
rally
talking about the
nearby.
riots, then yeah. Hold on. If we're talking about the riots, then absolutely.
What
we're
else is
talking about-
January 6th?
Yeah, hold on a second. So I condemn the part where he said that it was rigged without sufficient evidence,
Uh-huh.
and that he pulling that shit for sure. But do I hold him
fake slate of
responsible?
electors
Mm.
attempting
now-
a coup.
Right, the fake slate.
non-peaceful
You don't
the-
think he
the
you don't
fake
think he
slate of
pointed his
electors,
fucking his
that
supporters
was
over to the White
yes.
House? Or not to the White House.
I do not believe that the fake slate of electors that was theorized by his attorney. I'm blanking on the name right now.
Cohen?
Um,
Michael Cohen?
No, the other one.
No, it was Southern.
No. Hold on.
It was something.
Which person are we talking about?
He's trying to- he
The
can't
guy who
remember.
came up with the fake
He's trying
slate
to-
of
he's
electors.
trying to find his little-
Giuliani?
John Eastman?
Is there-
John Eastman?
Eastman.
Or-
Eastman, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I knew it was like Southern or Eastman or something.
So in terms of the legality of things, I think that if a well-respected lawyer, as Eastman was, comes to you and presents a legal pathway to maintaining power, from the legality aspect, I don't fully hold Trump responsible for that. In the same way that I wouldn't fully hold responsible any client if they're given this sort of advice by a credible licensed attorney, which John Eastman was. I do condemn specifically the part where, whether it be legal or illegal, I don't like the idea of somebody delaying transfer of power without sufficient evidence of election fraud. I know Trump believed that there was election fraud. He thought he had it. I just don't think that he did. So I condemn his judgment on that front. In terms of his responsibility when it comes to the actual January 6th riot that happened at the Capitol, no, I don't think that he said anything in particular that should hold him responsible for the violence that happened that day.
Whoa, come on, dude.
So
The fact that they had the rally right by the Capitol, right where he's saying, hey,
Sure.
they're all in there right now betraying your
Mhm.
president. He had been tweeting about this for an entire week. So if you just want to
Yes.
make it about the speech he gave that day, sure, him saying fight like hell was not enough to get everybody to run inside the fucking Capitol on that day. But all of the tweets for the
All of it.
2 weeks leading up to that point, it is
Yes.
obvious that if somebody told me that the election was stolen, and I believe them, I would have been inside the fucking Capitol.
You
I would've been
are
running.
allowed in this country to give an opinion as to what you think happened without it being incitement. That is the rule. I'm allowed to say I think
true.
this was stolen from me,
That's not true.
and by me coming out and yelling about that, yes, it is true. I can
You-
come
you
out and
can
I can
say-
say
you can say
and
it.
I can say this is complete and utter horseshit. This was stolen from me. That does not mean that I am inciting violence.
And if that's all that happened on
that's not
J6,
true.
we would not be having this conversation. Actually, if that's
That
all
was the
happened on
debate that I
J6
had with Hunter,
well,
No, it
if
wasn't.
that's
There was
if-
there was. Hold on. I do.
and I addressed
actually
both
have to
parts
go.
of it, to be clear.
Yeah, true. You didn't weasel away. Thank you for not weaseling away.
I
But
did it. You weasel away with the court
hold on.
packing shit that your side's trying to do, sir.
I have to weasel away because
Uh-huh.
I have a test to study for. But
Right when I brought up,
I'm gonna
court
throw a little
packing.
grenade and then just
Wow.
walk out of the room. So I apologize, but hopefully you guys can scream alactoid. But yeah, I gotta go. So
But thank you for being
care,
here,
Hunter. Be
Hunter.
well.
I
Thanks for
feel-
coming
I
around.
know
On the
you,
test.
you could have used
Yeah,
this time
Hunter.
differently.
Have fun.
But I appreciate you using it. With
yeah,
us,
unlike
man.
the fucking everyone else who bailed. all right.
Yeah, fuck those guys. But you still
Yeah.
have fun. Thank you so much, Hunter.
All right,
Seriously.
see ya. Bye.
Jake.
Later.
All right, well,